Last time on... Echo can be an emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Please put your mental well-being first and take this into consideration before downloading. And please take that into consideration before watching this series as well. Never have I ever been in a fight. A physical fight, I mean. Carl takes a drink. TJ's fingers stay up. Who'd you fight? The fuck have you been? Remember Clint? Well, he mostly attacked us. We didn't really fight back, so it's not really a fight. What? What? So, I was in the crawl space the other day, and I found an old letter from Sydney. I haven't opened it. It said it was a treasure hunt on the front. Are we gonna go on a treasure hunt? Yay! Janice opens the door almost the second we knock, and I can tell immediately that something's off. First of all, she's got no pants on. I'm starting to think Janice isn't in the most mentally stable state currently. She might be in Texas, in fact, which is the most mentally unstable state. Maybe I've confused things and I'm just remembering things incorrectly. It's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, besides someone like mimicking Sydney's handwriting and writing all of that in there, and then like putting it in Carl's crawl space. What if Carl wrote it? What if he's really good at imitating finger? It's scary, but not because I think Sydney's ghost is writing scavenger hunts or some stupid shit like that. No, someone wrote the notes pretending to be Sydney, then planted them around the town for us to find. Are any of us sick enough to do something like that? And if so, who? Probably Leo. Whoever's writing them seems to like singling me out, too. Mentioning the forest and how I told secrets. Yeah, it's Leo. Those papers do seem pretty old, but I can't shake the feeling that this person has it out for me in some way. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Oh my god. It was probably Leo. That could be that Hallie's trying to make me think that that's what happened, but it's not. But, I don't know. From what I've seen of his writing so far, it feels like it's the kind of thing that if he was trying to make me think that, then he would have mentioned it, like, right now. Friday. It's not that kind of Friday, I think.
Why would you do that?
Now, back to the video! Hi, welcome back to Echo. I have not edited the last video this time, but I still have some notes here to read at the beginning. So, I said in the previous episode that the subtle hints towards Leo being the one behind the scavenger hunt being a misdirect seems like the type of thing Hallie wouldn't do. But so to clarify that, I've noticed, especially from certain parts in Adastra, that Hallie tends to set his twists up in a way that the reader might be able to figure it out before it's revealed, but still in a way where it'll make sense for the main character, and possibly the reader, not to consider it. Spoiler warning for Adastra. I'll have this up while I give the spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers for that, you can mute the video until that's gone. So, for example, at the part where Cassius bugged Amicus's room, the attention was taken away from the bugging multiple times and it wasn't mentioned again until the trial, but even Amicus suspected that he was bugged. And here, Chase didn't even consider Leo being the one to set the treasure hunt up, not even mentioning his name when listing out his suspicions. It could still be a misdirect, since to me it seems like the game is pretty clearly pointing towards Leo being the culprit, even if Chase himself isn't mentioning it, but on the other hand, I feel like it makes a little too much sense compared to the other possibilities for it not to be correct. One other thing I also realized after I recorded the last session, Janice could just be bipolar. Like the weird moments that she's had might be manic episodes. Obviously just being bipolar doesn't make people behave like that, but something could be exacerbating it here. She doesn't seem to recognize them as manic episodes herself, but there's a good chance she's just undiagnosed, or she doesn't want to tell us. Or I'm just a dumbass who's speaking about a mental disorder he doesn't know enough about. That could be another possibility. But now, let's get into the game, actually. Wait, actually, is this the second to last day in this or something? That's not what I forgot that actually quits the game and it doesn't just go to the title screen, you have to go to the config. Friday. That's what we're on. And yeah, that's the second to last one. Wait, did Friday not have any, graphic there? Yep, nope. So, we might actually beat the games this time around. I'm not sure. TJ gets up early in the morning, and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. The tower turns on at some point, and I think I hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again, and when I wake up next, I see Jenna in the corner of the room, sitting at the little table and typing away on her laptop. I stare at her groggily until she notices me. Morning? Still tired? It's almost noon. I rub my face into my pillow and groan. Guess I was up later than I thought. I force myself to sit up. Couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Where's Siege? Hike. What? You went on a hike. I sit there, frowning at Jenna. She types a while until she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know, he wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I know, I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's the scavenger hunt. Of course that's what's bothering him. I sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to do it. I'm going to try to talk to him when he gets back, though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding on whether or not to just text him now. Jenna, do you think there's something weird about the treasure hunt? Jenna doesn't even look up from her screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it is weird. I mean, I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just everything seems off. Who do you think put them there, then? I shrug. I don't know. It was Leo. Probably, maybe. I mean, you haven't even thought about it. Chase. Jenna stares at the computer screen for a while, not typing anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do. And even if it was someone else that left him there, if it's going to help him, then I'm going to help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all it is a treasure hunt. I'm just hoping that it ends at the house. Yeah. Jenna goes on typing, apparently done with the conversation, so I finally get up to go to the shower. Breakfast is long gone by the time I go to the lobby, and what's left is a few dried biscuits. Why did I say biscuits so weird? Like I had something between my teeth. Biscuits between my teeth? Cookies! I don't know why that's become a mainstay for this series now. Maybe they actually do help me with my voice, I'm not sure. So I opt to go to the diner instead. Oh, no dried biscuits? Aw. I mean, I guess if you don't have anything to drink, then it might be bad, because I've heard dried biscuits aren't good to eat by themselves. But yeah, I guess understandable in that situation. But, well, Jenna opts to stay in the room to finish her paper. I sit at my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. Janice comes over to take my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. I imagine TJ out there on the trail, trudging along the path under the 100+ degree heat. Aside from worrying about what he might be going through right now, I also worry that he might pass out in this kind of weather. I can only hope he had the right of mind to take a long enough water and make sure to cool off, like he did to me. Wait, 100+ degree? Oh my god, what is that in Celsius? Is it like 40 degrees or something? Almost, it's 100 is 37.777 degrees Celsius, that's a lot. That is very worrying. I look down at my phone on the table, again considering whether or not I should call him. Maybe a text at least. Hey man. Then I set my phone back down and wait for a response, wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone move up next to the table. I look up expecting to see Janice, but I'm met with the sight of a young white deer, his clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. This video is not sponsored by Blue Apron. Maybe. I blank on his name for a few moments, and I'm left with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. What was his name? I don't remember either. Julian. Then I remember. Oh, Julian, what's up? Julian smiles. Hey there, my shift just ended and saw you sitting here. I wait, but he doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's expecting it, and I can't really find a way out, so... Wanna sit down? Yeah, sure. Julian responds quickly and slides in the booth across from me, setting his folded apron down on the table. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I sound a little annoyed. I don't think I did, but I don't know about Chase. A part of me hopes that I do, so that he might get the hint, like Janice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers and resting his forearms on the table. How are you today? Good. You? Julian shrugs. I've been better. This job is really starting to wear me out, you know? Yeah, I've had a few like that. Well, the buck seems nice enough. I don't think I've had more than 5 conversations with the guy in my entire life. It was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, a part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out, and TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused now as to why he's suddenly taken an interest. Maybe because of TJ. Yeah? What sort of job do you have? Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer, like I did last year. So that job wore you out? Well, no, but my fast food job did. The one I had in high school. I kind of like stacking boxes and putting stuff on shelves. See, I think food service jobs are definitely the worst, so I can see why stocking might be a little better. He breaks off as Janice comes back, sitting down my chicken sandwich. Oh, you know Chase Julian? It's Chase Julian? Oh, you know Chase Julian? A little. I know him through TJ. Ah, well, if you see that boy again, let him know that I'd like to chat with him. I look up and Janice gives me a wink before bustling off. I decide to definitely not let TJ know. But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa, and this diner has some seriously flexible hours. Only reason why I'm still here. At least you guys don't seem very busy, even during the lunch hour. I nod at the 2 or 3 other occupied tables. Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or 2. That idea actually makes me a little sad. I look down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkward at the idea of Julian just watching me eat, so I leave it on the plate for now. Julian leans back and looks out the window. So, where's TJ at? I thought you 2 were hanging out. I get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian is talking to me. Yeah, that was my first suspicion. Yeah, he went off on a hike earlier this morning. I slept in. Oh, I see. You still do that a lot? I shrug. I don't know. We've only been here about a week. He does love going on hikes, though. I mean, does he do that at CCU? I stare at Julian for a second before I realize what he's talking about. Oh, no, I don't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo. Huh, so you guys been up here? Well, I picked him up and brought him here, along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo too. I grow a little frustrated having to explain everything to this guy. All I want to do is eat, then go back to the motel and wait for TJ. Well, I mean, it's good to have something to do while I wait. I see. Well, TJ was my best friend during senior year, after you and Carl left. We hung out all the time. After he left for college, we kind of lost touch. Yeah, he's not very active on social media. I'd only seen TJ post a few pictures since he started classes. A few were of him on the college soccer team, and one was of him standing in a prayer circle, along with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend towards the end of high school cools my exasperation. I suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to. He was kind of depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him. Depressed? That surprises me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. Well, I didn't know Leo to be that either, and apparently he was. Well, I was God. Sure, he's been sad before, but not outright depressed as far as I know. Maybe I don't know much about him. I thought it might have to do with graduation, but it went on all summer. Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I can definitely let him know. I just turned my phone on the table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ too, about everything. Julian smiles. That would be great. Please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving. Okay. I hesitate, then pick up the phone to type out the brief message. I just met Julian at the diner. He'd like to talk to you. TJ hasn't texted me back yet. How long have you known TJ? I set the phone back down and settle back into the booth. Since he got here in like 2001, so 14 years ago? Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, it really is. You guys always been good friends? For the most part. I had times where I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me. I see. Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school, but it wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study. Ah, of course. I always knew about you guys, though, the Echo Kids. Yep, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice. It was a mean thing to say, but this town is kind of messed up. A lot of weird things happen here. I can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. Then he lowers his voice another notch. Hey, so this is gonna be a bit weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something that's bothered me for a while. I eyed Julian warily. Yeah? TJ told me what happened at Lake Emma a while back when we were talking about death and heaven. I feel a little chill go up my spine. Well, he never actually told me about what exactly happened, but I can tell it really affects him. Julian pauses, but I don't say anything, keeping my eyes fixed on the table. No, you don't have to tell me, and if it makes you uncomfortable, please don't. But I feel like if I have a better idea of what happened, I might understand him a bit better. Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin to rest it on. I'm not going to ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago, but I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. So if you're not okay with it, then please just let me know, and I'll change the subject. I contemplated for a moment, wondering if the buck is out of line to be asking about such a thing. I decided he isn't. He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way he's sort of connected to it. So I guess he does have reason to know. Okay, but please don't bring it up with TJ. Like you said, it still really affects him. Never. Julian looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gathering my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought of the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think. 2000. Oh, hi? Okay. 2003. It's a little hard to remember. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim like we did almost every week. There's this little spot where the beach kind of curves in, and it's mostly sand and shallow water. That's where we'd usually hang out and swim. Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point one of us wanted to go and skip rocks. We had to go further up the shore to do that, and DJ was more interested in building sandcastles. So he stayed behind while the rest of us went up to the beach to find the rocks. When you go up that far, you can't really see that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as we went up the beach. The lynx bending over his castle, the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand from when he'd sat down. Sydney went with us, I at least remember that, but while we were skipping rocks, he just sort of disappeared. I glance up at Julian for a moment and see him listening attentively before I look back down at the table. Anyway, we heard some splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran up to the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got him. Too late, though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet of water, staring at Sydney's body floating 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation for what happened always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into the water. That maybe the current knocked him off balance and pulled him in. How he'd even said that it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. How none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. It seems to be enough for Julian, though, as he shakes his head. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, but thank you for telling me. All I knew was that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why that would still deeply affect him. No problem. I realized that Julian is probably the first person that I've ever told the story to outside of Echo. I also realized that it wasn't hard at all to do. I suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that has no connection to the raw horror of that day. That and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over it without even knowing. But yeah, Echo was a crazy place. You know about that mass hysteria thing that happened 100 years ago? This place is kind of famous for that. Almost all of the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it. My heart skips a beat as I suddenly remember my project. I cover my face with my paws. Shit. What's wrong? Did I say something? I uncover my face to see Julian looking at me with some concern. No, I just forgot some schoolwork that I needed to get done. A project. It's the whole reason I'm here. Not this treasure hunt thing. How much time did I have to do it again? I mean, all I had to do was get some shots right, and I can do the rest at home. I guess. The excitement around the scavenger hunt completely wiped the thought of it from my mind. Oh? What kind of project? A news report on Echo and that mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything on it since I first got here. Hey, that's so cool! Do you need help? I blink, the buck's eagerness surprising me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed. The skin on the inside of his ear is turning a dark red. I mean, he says he listens to paranormal podcasts about it, so Sorry, it's something that's always interested me, so I got a little excited. I glanced down at my phone and see that I still haven't gotten a response from TJ, so I get an idea. Despite my initial annoyance, I like how considerate Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of our trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of the mine, or at least the opening since it's sealed up. If you want, we can head up there to get some shots and at the same time look for TJ. The trail is in that area. Julian perks up. Hey, that would be really awesome. Thanks. Do you want to eat that first? I look down at my sandwich, then shake my head. I'll just eat on the way to the motel. Oh, I got my truck. I can drive you over, and there's a bunch of room if you need it for your equipment. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Just let me get a to-go box and we can leave. 20 minutes later, and we're heading up the narrow canyon road towards the mine. I haven't been there in years, but the dirt road leads straight to it, so I don't even have to look up instructions. Julian chats away while I eat my lukewarm sandwich out of a foam to-go box. While there's an almost robotic quality to the buck with how articulate he is, he's also really nice. I can certainly see why TJ would call him a friend. The bumpy road curves upward, and finally, we get to the mine. There's a wide open dirt space for parking, along with some concrete barriers along the edge of the drop-off. There are a few signposts, probably giving a brief history on the mine, and then there's TJ. The Lynx is sitting at the opening of the mine, right at the entrance. He's leaning back against the rebar. That's how you pronounce that word. He's leaning back against the rebar grid that sealed the entrance. What the? Julian stops talking and looks over at me, then in the direction I'm looking. Whoa, is that Tej? I don't say anything because I realize now how limp the Lynx looks, his head tipped back, his paws limply laying on the ground. I'm out of the truck before Julian can even park, my to-go box spilling out onto the gravel as I jog toward TJ. TJ! Hey, what's wrong? You okay? The Lynx doesn't respond, and when I get to him, I see that his eyes are open, but they're rolled back to the point where I can only see white. Oh. I've been over him, trying to help him sit up better, made more difficult by his bulky backpack getting in the way. As I'm doing this, I feel a rush of cold air from the mine, blowing out through the rebar. I ignore it at first, focused on trying to get TJ to respond to me, but then I realize there's a hissing sound to go with it, like someone exhaling. In the mine or from TJ, because either one is concerning. I glance up through the grid, but I don't see anything. I think it was in the mine, but, Still, I get the unnerving feeling that the opening is breathing somehow. Is he alright? Julian, shouting and running up next to me, turns my attention back to TJ. I look down at the Lynx and see his ears twitching around. What? I crouch down next to him, putting a paw behind his head to give him some support. Okay, good, he's not dead. TJ, what happened? Are you okay? TJ turns to me, blinking in confusion. Okay? What's wrong? He rubs at his eyes with the back of his paw before adjusting himself so that he can sit up straight. You were just sitting there. You almost looked... Julian pauses. It looked like you were passed out or something. TJ finally seems to focus on us, the dazed look in his eyes disappearing. Passed out? Oh, no, I was just taking a quick nap. TJ lets out a short laugh and leans his head back against his backpack. What? Here? I look back at the sealed mine, the ominous blackness still seeming to yawn open at us. Why? Well, it's hotter than usual today, so I started to feel like I was going to pass out. Thought that might be a bad sign, so I decided to rest once I got here. You came here on purpose? Yeah, I saw the canyon with you last time, so I decided to take a trip to the mine this time. TJ smiles lazily up at me as he continues to lounge back against his backpack. Sorry I worried you and... Oh, Julian! TJ seems to suddenly realize that the stag is here. What are you doing here? TJ quickly gets to his feet, sliding his arms out of the straps of his backpack. He hugs Julian, the stag hugging back just as enthusiastically. TJ doesn't even greet me so intimately. I guess they have more of a history than I thought. Hey, Tej. Yeah, I met Chase at the diner. You weren't answering your texts, so we both decided to come up and find you. That, and Chase needs to get some footage for his project. Oh, cool. Do you need help with that, Chase? TJ turns to me with a grin. I don't know what it is, but TJ's acting a lot more chipper than he was yesterday. I mean, it's... maybe just because he took a hike. Alone. I imagine that's probably what he needed to collect his thoughts. I actually did that yesterday as well. But that was because I had to write a song, and I was like, thinking of lyrics and I couldn't focus on the computer. And if you're wondering why I had to write a song, it's because I'm doing like a high school diploma thing. Feels weird to call it a diploma, but yeah, it's a high school music diploma. And yeah, hiking did help me do that. That almost dark broodiness is gone, replaced by his usual cheer. I have to smile because of it, despite the situation just a few minutes ago. Sure. Another breeze of cool air seems to whoosh softly through the rebar. I look back at it. TJ, why the hell would he sleep here next to the creepy mine? TJ frowns. I mean, it's cold, so that's good. You don't want to just straight up die from heat stroke. It was really cool. Like, cold. I was laying in the opening and felt some cool air blow out, so I decided to lean against it. It feels really nice. TJ walks up to the metal grid and spreads his arms out, clutching onto bars as he presses his face against it. He leans his head back, pulling a face. Well, it smells really musty, but it feels good. I look back at the opening, the blackness inside sending chills up my spine. I think back to when a body was found in there over 100 years ago. Even though I know there aren't any dead bodies in there now, it still creeps me the fuck out. You don't know that for certain, though. I try to hide my shudder as I turn away, looking back at the truck. Hey, so are we going to Sydney's old house now? Is that why you guys came to find me? TJ is trying to hide it, but I can hear the eagerness in his voice. I turn back to look at him, the Lynx now with his back to the mine, pressed up against it. I want to tell him to move away from the opening, but I won't be able to explain to him why. Well, let me get some filming done first. I can do the voiceover later, so it'll be quick. I hold back a wince as I realize how much time that's also going to take. My project is going to be shit at this point, can't avoid that. Well, unless you do the brunt of the work at home. I just need to make it the least shit as I can. Oh yeah, sorry. TJ laughs nervously, then looks away. Sorry, I'm just a little loopy from my nap. You guys really surprised me. It's okay. I gotta go get my equipment really quick, alright? TJ nods at me and I jog off to the parked truck to grab my camera. So TJ might still be acting a little weird, but I'm just glad he seems happy again. Seeing him the way that he was last night was a little unnerving to say the least. I scoop up my camera bag from the bed of the truck and head back, slowing down to a walk as the heat is already starting to catch up with me. How TJ was able to go on a several-hour-long hike is absurd to me. It almost seems foolish. Especially for someone like TJ who knows about how dangerous that can be. When I get back to the mine entrance, I see Julian and TJ sitting with their backs to either side of the opening, chatting with each other. They're eating granola bars, and TJ holds one out to me as I approach. Thanks. Hey, TJ? Huh? TJ looks up at me innocently. If you go on a hike again, be sure to bring me next time, okay? I don't think you should be alone out here. Oh, yeah, sure. His ears droop a little, a small frown on his face. I just don't want you to get hurt, you know? It's really hot today, and it would have been really terrible if you'd passed out alone. Yeah, sorry. I drop my bag gently on the ground, before leaning it back against the wall next to the Lynx. It's all good. I just want to make sure you're okay. Thanks. I just didn't want to wake you up this morning. Jenna offered to go with you, didn't she? TJ sighs quietly, looking away into the mine. Yeah, but I can tell you guys don't want to go. I just don't want to ruin this trip for you more than I already have. What? TJ, what are you talking about? TJ goes quiet, then just shrugs his shoulders. Maybe he isn't back to his old self after all. I wouldn't mind going with you, TJ. I love hiking. Julian smiles gently at the Lynx. For some reason, I feel a tiny tug of annoyance in my chest. It's stupid, but I was the one who offered first, and I'm the one that took TJ out the first time. Yeah, we could both go. The point is, you don't go out alone next time, alright, Tej? Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. No problem. A short silence stretches out between the three of us before Julian speaks up again. We were just talking about our old Bible study group. TJ leans his head back against the wall, rolling his eyes. It's an expression I don't see from him very often. What about it? Oh, just the way that TJ would always take it so seriously, and no one else would. TJ shakes his head in exasperation. Yeah, I never had any control in that club. Oh really? Were you in charge? It's a little odd to think of TJ in a leadership position like that. I just never knew him to put himself out there in high school. Yeah, I arrived it after it sort of went defunct for a few years. Wasn't all that popular. TJ smiled with some embarrassment. Yeah, we had like 3 other members, not including you or me. Yeah, then one dropped out after like 2 meetings. Julian clicks his tongue. What a godless school we went to. Hey! You know I'm kidding. Mostly. Well, I did want atheists to join too, as long as they weren't disruptive. I just wanted to show everyone what a nice experience it could be. Even if you didn't believe. I very vaguely remember TJ inviting me to the club and me saying that I'd think about it. I never went, of course. It wasn't all that spiritual in the end, though. Yeah, mostly we just talked and brought snacks. It took TJ a while to realize no one wanted another Sunday school session at actual school. Yep, hours of planning out the window. It was still a great time. I think the 4 of us were happier for it. Yeah, I guess. TJ seems to suddenly notice me. And I seem to suddenly notice how similar these voices are. It's hard to differentiate them. Sorry Chase, you wouldn't know much about this stuff. It's okay, it's interesting to hear about. Again, I get that little twinge of jealousy, even though I know it's not fair. I'd chosen not to show up, probably using that time to go home and hang out with Leo. You didn't miss much. Just discussions about movies and watching movies too. Ugh, they couldn't even be religiously themed. Thank God. Hey! I laugh at how indignant TJ is. Well, I'm glad you had a good time at least. I came away thinking the whole thing was a failure. I think I remember you mentioning that you wish your friend here would have shown up. I don't really remember. Of course you do, you said it all the time. TJ's ears flattened and turned red. Who, me? Yep. Julian grins as TJ tries to look away. Okay. Well, it makes even more sense that Julian wanted to talk to me then. Well, the situation is kind of funny. Now I feel even worse about not ever showing up. Sorry, Teach. You know, it was high school and all. Yeah, I understand. Don't worry about it. So, did you start another club at your new school? TJ smirks. It's a Christian school, so there's like 50 clubs about religion. Oh? Are you a member of any of them? A few. Which ones? The singles club. Singles? As in finding a date? Sure. He looks away again. It's hilarious how bashful he is about this stuff. He's in college. All of this should be natural to talk about, but not with TJ. You meet anyone? Hey Chase, don't you have to film some stuff? He looks back at me with a frown. Whoa, just asking. Julian chuckles quietly. I bend down and start pulling out my equipment, deciding that a few long shots with the tripod should be enough. As I'm extending out the legs, Julian asks TJ about the hike. Was it fun? TJ shrugs, finishing the last of his granola bar, and brushing his paws together to get rid of the crumbs. It was okay. It was really quiet. I winced as one of my pads. I got some milk for my cookies. My voice is really not doing too good. Okay, but seriously, why do the milk and cookies seem to actually be helping? I do not understand. I wince as one of my pads gets pinched between metal. Kinda creepy, to be honest. I would like it if you two went along sometime, if I do it again. Of course. Yeah, definitely. Over the next 2 minutes, I set up the camera in 3 different spots, getting about 1 minute of film for each. TJ and Julian sit in the truck while I do, and whenever I glance at them, they seem to be animatedly chatting and laughing. Once I'm done, I sigh and quickly snap the legs back down into the bag, along with camera. I see mine to-go box in the dirt and consider picking it up, but I don't. Litterer. I drop the bag into the truck again, before hopping into the passenger seat, leaving TJ to sit between the two of us. They go quiet as we start pulling out onto the dirt road. What were you guys talking about? Not much, just about high school. TJ nods. Again, I'm starting to feel a little left out between these two, kind of like a third wheel. So, what's the plan now? Well, we thought we'd go to the house now, after we pick up Jenna and Carl. Alright. We drive in silence a little while, and for some reason, I start to wish that I was sitting in the middle. The way Julian keeps turning the wheel forces his elbows to brush up against TJ's side, and I force myself to look away, wondering what the fuck I'm thinking. Wait, okay, I was a little confused, but I forgot we're in like a van, right? So there's like 3 seats there, probably. Or it's just like one long seat that everyone can fit into. I'm treating TJ like he's something that belongs to me. We've only hung out recently over the course of this week. Maybe Flynn was right. In his speech about me. I'd barely talked to him the past 2 years. I forced myself to look ahead, out the windshield. Then TJ's phone buzzes, and my eyes naturally go to the screen as the Lynx whips it out. I see the name Flynn, then the message underneath it. I only have time to see a few words. You know, his fucking tell me. TJ jerks his phone back down, and I look away just as I feel Lynx's eyes on my face. I wonder if he saw me looking. I'm sure he did. That doesn't really matter though, because now I'm wondering what the fuck Flynn thinks he's doing. They've been staying away from each other the past few days, obviously, but I guess Flynn found another way to get to TJ. What the fuck does he think he's doing? I feel myself getting angry. I don't exactly know what the lizard is saying to TJ, but judging by what I saw, it's definitely not good. I make a mental note to ask TJ about it tonight. What the? Okay, I just paused because I noticed that there was like a light on my monitor stand, a red light coming from my controller, and I was like, my controller is below the table. How is it? How is that showing up there? It's like, does the light shine through wood? But no, it's just the way the desk is arranged. If you won't tell me, then I'll let Leo know. He'll do something about it. We all walk up to the sidewalk to the old ranch-style house. It's been a long time since I've seen this place. Even longer since I've walked on this path. Sydney's house is up the gravel road, behind the forest. It's a bit of an odd spot, secluded from the rest of the town. It was all the better for us, I guess. It's nice not to be reminded of what happened. Guys, I don't know about this. You think he's just gonna let us in? What else can we do? Maybe Sydney didn't mean his room. Where else would he sleep? I don't know. I mean, he'd nap in random places, if I remember right. Like he slept on my couch, even. Stop it, Chase. You know that's not what he meant. Well, who knows? I do. I know where it is. That dark edge to TJ's voice is creeping in again. I suppose there's no harm in asking. You can't deny that it's a little weird for 5 young adults to just show up on your doorstep asking to be let in. We don't have much of a choice, though, do we? TJ's walking ahead of all of us, marching up the concrete steps without hesitation, before immediately ringing the bell. Whoa, wait! We didn't even think of what we're going to say! I already know what I'm going to say. We stand there in sudden silence for a bit, and I look around at the others. Maybe he thought about it on the hike. Maybe that's why he was so chipper, because he had the plan. Carl looks completely uncomfortable, almost nauseous, his paws shoved deep into his pockets as he stares hard at the ground. Jenna is staring at TJ, her brown furrowed, clearly worried. Her brown what? Nose? Looks black. Julian just stands there, as if the situation doesn't bother him at all. The door finally opens, revealing a young red panda, not much older than ourselves. He blinks at us, then fixes a smile on his face. Okay. I need to think of a new voice, not just a deep voice. From what I remember, when I saw a red panda somewhere in, I think, this game's files, it looked to be like a pretty big guy, but I don't want to give him a deep voice. Because I already have several that I have trouble separating from each other, so... Hello? Can I help you? That's fucking one of the kid voices, goddammit. Hello? Can I help you? That's fucking too close to Carl. Hello? Can I help you? Wonderful voice. Yeah. Let's go with that. I see TJ's ears flatten down for a moment, his originally tough resolve clearly faltering. Hello. The red panda stares down at TJ for a moment, waiting expectantly. I don't recognize him, and I'm sure I would have seen him around town if he'd moved in after Sydney's parents moved out. It must have been sometime recently, a few years ago. I decide then that I should step in to let TJ try and gather his wits. Hi, I'm Chase. This is TJ, and Carl, Jenna, and Julian. I point to everyone, feeling my cheeks grow hot. Oh, this is... okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ingy. Another moment of awkward silence before I try to think of something else to say. How the hell do you bring up wanting to search someone's house because it belonged to your dead friend? As I'm trying to figure that out, TJ speaks up again. Our friend used to live here, about 12 years ago. Oh, really? The panda seems to think. Are you talking about Sydney? Sydney, yeah, he was our friend. Oh, sorry, I couldn't remember the name. I think his aunt told me about what happened. Yes, and he left something behind for us in his room. Is it alright if we come in and look for it? Indy's originally inquisitive look is replaced by one of confusion, and definitely a little bit of suspicion. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Oh, all of you? I notice Carl still staring down hard at the floor, his paws twisting in his pockets. If that's alright with you. Indy stares at all of us for a good 10 seconds, causing even me to glance down at the floor, realizing how stupid all of this is. Finally, he starts to step back, closing the door a little bit as he does. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's a good idea. Wait! TJ steps forward, his fur bristling. The panda jumps a little, closing the door further, until it's at the point where I can only see one of his eyes. Sorry, it's just... maybe I could come in and the rest of my friends can wait outside? This'll be really quick. I know exactly where to look. The panda's one eye looks back at us. TJ turns around and makes a shooing gesture with both paws. There's a pause, then we stumble back a little, down the steps onto the sidewalk. My face burns again in embarrassment, realizing what a bunch of crazy people we look like right now. I look back and see TJ standing alone on the porch, looking back at the panda, his paws clasped together. Again, what feels like a very long silence seems to drag on until Indy opens the door slightly. You know what? Why don't you just tell me where it is and I'll have a look? Oh yeah, TJ seems surprised, if only now considering that idea. It's the room on the left, down that hallway. TJ points at the door in an angle. In the closet, in the back corner. It might be in a box. Indy's facial expression mirrors mine as I frown. A box in a closet, sitting there for over a decade. Alright, I'll have a look. Indy disappears behind the door, and I hear a deadbolt slide into place. We stand there in silence for a while before Carl breaks it. Dude, he's calling the police. No, he's not. We look like a bunch of crazy people. We should leave. Not until he comes back out. I think I'm gonna be sick. I think it's technically okay unless he tells us to leave. He did say he's going to look for it. No harm in just waiting for his answer. I see Carl scuff his hooves against the pavement, looking around nervously. I wonder if he's had too much weed or something. No, I think he's having a pretty normal reaction, actually. Why do you think it's in the closet? He used a shoebox in there as a spot for his treasure hunts before. You remember? I vaguely do, now that he mentions it, but I'm surprised TJ does. He was even younger. I mean, yeah, he's... he can't get older than us. Then the door opens, and Inji comes back out. His facial expression is completely different now. It's one of amazement and disbelief, but it's what's in his paws that catches my attention. It's a teal-colored shoebox, old and worn and torn through the corners. My mouth drops. Inji stands there for a moment, holding the box out. Is this it? It's not mine, and there's a piece of paper inside. TJ's paws shake as he reaches out to take the box, lifting the lid to look inside. It was in the spot that you said. I've never seen that before. I feel my stomach twist, more dismayed than anything that he found something. Do you not use that closet? It's a bit of an odd question, but I want to know how the hell he might have missed it. Inji shakes his head. No, not really. It's mostly a storage room right now. I think I've opened it a few times to put some boxes on the shelf, but I can't really remember. Did you not look inside when you first moved in? Inji looks at me, and so does CJ over his shoulder. I guess now I'm sounding like the crazy person. Well, I can't really remember. It was a couple years ago. I had family help me move them in, so maybe they just thought it was mine if they saw it? I want to ask more, but I bite my lip, not wanting to seem as frustrated and suspicious as I am. It's definitely something I could have missed. I've had a few things with the crawl space from the last family. Who lived here before you, if you don't mind me asking? Inji leans against the doorway, his arms folded, looking a lot more relaxed now. It was the family you're talking about, I think. The Bronsons? Yes. TJ's still looking down at the box, having not taken out the note. Yep, the woman who lived here moved out right after what happened, but then her sister moved in. She told me about what happened when I bought the place. Indy looks down at the box that TJ's still holding. Do you know what he left you? How did you know to find it? It's an old scavenger hunt that we found. It told us to come here. Like something he left behind? Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about what happened to your friend. You must have been children at the time. No one said anything, so I nod for him. I'm sorry. Also sorry for being so suspicious when you guys showed up. Thought I caught someone trying to break in a few days back. I wonder who that was. Can't be too careful. Don't worry about it, that's completely understandable. Now I'm wondering if this is supposed to be as obvious as it is. Like, Are we supposed to be suspecting Leo at this point? I mean, this was apparently like the third route made for the game, so it could be that they were like, yeah, people know already because maybe they found out on the other routes. I don't know. I'd assume probably not, since now that the game's finished, of course, you still have the chance to go here first, like I'm doing. Indy nods, then shifts around. I don't want to pry, but what does it say? I didn't read it since I don't want to intrude or anything. TJ lifts the lid again, then reaches in to pull out the piece of paper. It's identical to the others that we've seen. Indy takes the box from the link so he can use both paws to unfold the note. Then he starts reading. I hope that you're all having fun. Soon you'll know what Chase has done. Oh, Figure it out. It's a piece of cake. If you can't, look by Carl's drawing at the lake. What? What the fuck? What did I do, Leo? It goes quiet for a while. The sound is the wind rustling through the trees. Then I hear a gagging sound and look back just in time to see Carl hurling into some bushes. TJ is strangely calm as we sit in the motel room. It's been about half an hour since we found the last note. After Carl lost his lunch in the bushes, Julian drove him back home and we had to put the scavenger hunt on hold. TJ wants us all to be there for it. Julian is still with us, and I keep wondering when the hell he's going to go home. He just joined our little group today, and TJ acts like he needs to be part of this for some reason. Makes sense. He was also a part of that time in Echo, I guess. Oh, wait, when did they meet? I don't remember. But also it makes sense because he was his best friend at one point at least. But yeah, TJ is just being jealous. He barely even knew Sydney. But that doesn't really matter. This whole thing is so ridiculous. It's so obvious that Sydney had nothing to do with this scavenger hunt. Someone's planting these damn notes, and they have it out for me. I sit with my back against the headboard of the bed, staring at my legs as TJ tries to defend this whole thing. If it's really bothering you, Chase, then you don't have to come. I bristle a bit. You're insisting everyone else go, why not me? I force myself not to look over at Julian. I do want you to come, but you're so angry. I've never seen you like this. Oh, I have. We all have. Chase is just acting like his old self now. Okay. Jenna sits in the corner on her laptop as usual, smirking. It pisses me the fuck off. Of course it does. Listen, whoever's writing these has it out for me. Look at what the last one said. Sydney wrote them, and he always kind of teased you. It's just like him. I go quiet, looking away with a glare. What do you think the clues are implying about you, Chase? I think for a moment, but it's hard with all the anger that keeps threatening to bubble to the surface. I don't know. I just don't like the sound of it, and honestly, I try to think of the right way to word what I'm going to say. If you respect me, you'd see that and stop the stupid hunt. It goes quiet for a moment, then Julian stands up. Hey, I'm gonna head out. Let me know what you guys decide to do tomorrow. I've got the whole day off. Oh, okay, man. Thanks so much for coming with us. TJ gives the stag a side hug, and I try to keep myself from whistling. Once Julian leaves at the door, TJ sits on the foot of the bed, looking at me. I completely respect you, Chase, but I really think these are from Sydney. He's just teasing you. I don't say anything, choosing to look at the wall, feeling more unnerved by my own emotions than anything else. I don't feel like myself at all. I know I asked you this morning, but if you think this is someone else's doing, who could it be? Jenna crosses her arms, looking at me earnestly. I sit there quietly for a moment, debating on whether or not I should tell him. I decide I have to, since neither of the others seem to see it. I think it's Flynn. What? I think it's Flynn and Carl. They're doing this whole thing. You can't be serious. Yeah, I don't agree either. Who else? Leo. Carl's the one that found the first note. I think Flynn gave it to him. I mean, I guess Carl's reaction does make sense if you look at it that way. But I don't know. I think it makes sense either way, to be honest. The looks on Jenna and TJ's faces make me look away again. Makes. Even if the grammar is incorrect, I still need to read it the way it is. Why does this music remind me of Night in the Woods? I think it's the bass. Kinda sounds like the bass in some of the songs in that game. Am I going crazy? Chase, that's Crazy, I know, but you saw how Carl was acting today, how nervous he was. He even threw up. Carl does that sometimes. Ugh. I slide my legs off the bed and let them hang over the side, fully facing the wall now. I know how Flynn was back at the river, but even he wouldn't do that. I look back at TJ with a glare. What about those texts he's sending you? What? TJ's paw flies to his pocket, a shocked look on his face. Jenna looks between us. What? Flynn sent TJ a text swearing at him. I think he's been messaging you this whole time. TJ's quiet, just staring at me. You know, I'm kind of surprised he doesn't know I know, but I guess that's just because of the way Chase has been narrating the whole thing. Like, he was like, yeah, he clearly knows I know he's lying, but I didn't. Like, maybe he didn't know. TJ, is that true? TJ stares at the floor for a moment before finally looking up, his voice oddly calm. Yeah, well, he's angry. Of course he would be, but he has no reason to be riding the scavenger hunt. Flynn would never do that. You sure about that? TJ glares back at me, and now I can tell I've made him angry. Yes. Why would he do it in the first place? I don't have to think hard on that one. To hurt TJ, to ruin our friendship by making up lies about me, to just be a complete dick, take your pick. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't say anything, choosing to glare at the wall. Jenna looks between us again and shakes her head. Alright, that's enough of this. Neither of you are acting like yourselves, so I think it's best we head to bed, alright? Whatever. I slide into the bed on my side, still staring at the wall, listening as TJ gets up and goes into the bathroom. Jenna goes on typing on her computer. I lay there quietly, deciding that I'm going to have to do something to stop this. I don't know, man. I think we should just let it happen, to be honest. I mean, it's a little ominous, and it might be a bad secret that we find out there, but I just probably good that it's out there, I guess. Now that people are, like, aware that there's some sort of secret, or at least there's the possibility on the table, even though if it was Sydney, it might not have actually have been a bad secret. Sneaking out of the motel room is probably the hardest part. Oh, okay. I know that if they catch me at any point, it's over. At about 3 a.m., I slide out of the bed, listening to TJ snores and watching Jenna's unmoving form curled up on the bed in front of me. So, am I going to the spot? Okay. Quietly, I dig around in my bag for my keys, then slip out the door into the night. I grit my teeth as my car starts up, imagining TJ or Jenna pulling back the curtains and seeing me sitting in the car. I've got excuses. I'm sick, I had to drive to the emergency room, or even that I just couldn't sleep and wanted to get a snack somewhere. They're all suspicious, but it should be enough to cover my ass if things go south. I drive along a quiet road, my surroundings almost black since the moon is set. This music's oddly calming. It takes me a moment to find the side road that will take me to the shore. Once I do, I see one lonely orange light glaring in the middle of the parking lot. I park away from it at the edge of the lot. It's dark here. I sit in the car for a while, wondering what I'm doing, wondering what the fuck I'm going to do. But something drives me, a feeling that if I don't do this, then the rest of my life is going to be ruined. Maybe. I can't let that happen. I open the door and quickly get out. I pull up my phone and turn on the light, finding the small dirt trail that leads out into the inky blackness. The air is cool and I can smell the lake. Pretty soon I can hear it too, the soft, desolate sound of the waves, running against the thin strip of shore. It's peaceful, but at the same time it terrifies me, and for a moment I feel like the lake is one giant living thing. Oh my god, the lake killed Sydney! I mean, literally it did, but it dwarfs me with its presence, a giant, all-knowing thing. It knows I'm here. Does it know that? I hope not. I shudder and force myself to continue. I find the shoreline, and the dry sand shifts under my feet as I take a right and follow the shore. I try to ignore the sounds of the lake, the feeling that it's watching me, beckoning me towards it. Finally, I come across the boulder that I'm looking for. The one that Carl used to carve his drawings into. Of course it would be something Carl used. That fat piece of shit. Oh, come on. I know you're angry, but it's a little mean. It's probably not even him that set this up or anything. I kneel down beside it, moving the light of my phone around until I find the drawings. I look at the super wolfish into the rock, glaring. Then I see a glint of light above it. I shift the phone light up to see what it is. I gasp, and I can't help a ragged scream from escaping my throat. Oh, a tarantula sits there, staring back at me, its cluster of eyes shining back in the darkness. I stumble back in the sand and fall, sitting down hard and causing my teeth to clack together. That's probably a bad sign. It's an omen. I scramble back up. I look around for a rock and quickly find one. Don't squish the tarantula. Or maybe do, actually. I don't know. When I turn back around and lift the light, the spider is gone. I look around for a while in case it just moved around, maybe on the ground closer to me. I don't see anything though, and I throw the rock at the lake, cursing the damn thing. Oh my god, it's like the tarantula at Janice's place. I know if that means something. I'll have to keep that in mind on the next routes, I guess. Then I kneel down and look at the spot between the rocky ground and the boulder. It takes a few moments, and I have to get real close, looking deeper into the crevice, and then there's a glint of what looks like metal. I start to dig, first with my bare hands, then with the help of a flat rock laying nearby. I'm sweating and gasping by the time I pull the thing free. It looks like an old lunchbox. I shine a light on it, and can barely make out what looks like a cartoon dragon. I open it and pull out the note. I read it. In a fit of rage, I tear the stupid thing in half, throwing it on the ground. You fucker! I hiss it out through my teeth, then pull out the piece of paper that I'd taken out of one of Jenna's notebooks, along with a pen. Oh, I write for a moment, using the old lunchbox as a flat surface. When I'm done, I drop it into the box, then wedge the box into the crevice, covering it up with the loose dirt I had moved. I pack it down, then stand back up. Thinking twice, I pick up the shredded note and stuff it into my pocket. Did I even read it? I mean, I guess I did, but I didn't tell myself what it is. Then I walk back up the shore and up the trail, ignoring what looks like the eyeshine of tarantulas all around me. Maybe it's just the stars. I don't remember much of the drive back, or the parking lot of the motel. The next thing I know, I'm standing next to the bed, glaring down at TJ, watching him sleep. Okay. Well, now I feel like everyone's just gonna know that I hid something. Because it's gonna look completely different from the other notes, right? It's gonna be in my hasty handwriting, with Jenna's pen. We arrive at the lake at about 10 in the morning. Julian had driven down over an hour ago to pick us up before driving to Carl's house. Carl wasn't ready when we got there, and when he answered the door, his eyes were bleary and red. It took him a good 20 minutes to get ready, and all the while I struggled not to glare at him. It's weird. I've been friends with the man for almost my entire life, and it's only now that I'm feeling real disgust for the person that he is. It probably wasn't him! Come on, dude. So many self-created problems. He keeps his head down most of the time, so he doesn't see me. He's still feeling sick too, so he opts to ride in the truck bed on the way down, and Jenna sits with him. I can't help but wonder what might happen if we have an accident. TJ sits next to me, and this time I'm sure to sit in the middle, so that Julian is on my left and TJ is on my right. Are you hoping for an accident, Chase? It feels better this way. As the lake comes into view, I rest upon TJ's knee. He glances at me, then nods in acknowledgement. I give his thigh a squeeze, then wait as we pull into the parking lot, going over the scenarios in my head for what might happen. Well, here we are. We don't say anything in response as we quietly get out of the truck. Jenna jumps out of the truck bed easily, but Carl struggles, and I imagine him falling straight out and face-planting into the asphalt. Jenna helps him though, and then we're all walking down the trail toward the lake, single file. Wait, so if you think it was Carl, then what do you think is gonna happen now? Like, he's gonna see that you switched the note. I mean, I guess he would have to confess to doing it then if he was like, wait, you did it, you wrote this note. But yeah, this seems bad. I walk right behind TJ though, so I can keep an eye on him and anyone else that might try to fuck with him. Wow, it's been 12 years since I've been down here. Yeah. There's a cool freshness to the air by the lake. I breathe it in, and get hit with the sweet memories of spending entire days down here. That actually looks really cool, really nice. It's probably the most, like, beautiful CG, or not CG, but, like, background that we've had so far. Swimming in the lake, building sandcastles, poking at dead fish on the beach. As we start walking on the beach and approach the big boulder, I feel my heart start to hammer in my chest. Yeah, not for no good reason. I pick up my speed to catch up to TJ. How are you feeling? I'm okay. You don't sound okay. I'm nervous. We all are. I actually feel like I'm gonna throw up. TJ suddenly reaches out his paw and holds mine. I'm surprised. TJ's never done this before, and though I know it's probably due to the situation we're in, it still makes me feel warm inside. It's going to be okay. I know it. This is going to be the end. TJ's voice breaks up on the last word. The end? The end of what, exactly? TJ's guilt over Sydney? The mystery over what exactly happened to him? Of the world as we know it? Yeah, that's probably it. Because I know that after this morning, things are never going to be the same again. Just remember that if it's buried by that boulder, it's probably gone by now. I know I've said that every time before, but the lake has flooded a few times since. Wait, now I'm actually wondering what I wrote on there. Because I was thinking that I wrote just like some really lame secret that Sydney might have written or something. But I might have just written, "It was you, Carl," or something. I look up at the steep rocky bank on our right. Remember that spring that it went all the way up to the road? Yeah. I look back at our friends. Jenna's walking side by side with Carl, talking to him in a low voice. Julian is ahead of them, and he's looking directly at me. I look away. I'm just saying that even if it's there, it's probably water damage to the point that we won't be able to read it. TJ stays silent just as we come up on the rock, sitting there on the beach like it has since I can remember. Probably like it has since before the lake was even created. TJ still holds my paw as Julian, Jenna, and Carl stand next to us, the five of us in a sort of semicircle around the boulder. Well, here we are. Julian says the exact same thing he said in the parking lot, and I feel myself starting to get annoyed. But I cling to TJ's paw, and that calms me down a little. So, if it's still there, it could be anywhere. Knowing Sydney, Jenna says his name carefully. He'd probably leave a marker of some kind. This one could be hard to find. Remember that he said this by Carl's drawing. It'd probably be right next to that. I don't know, guys. The other ones were inside of something. This is just down on a beach. The sand's changing all the time. Carl digs at the damp sand with a hoof, his paws shoved into his pockets, eyes downcast. Okay, well now I'm starting to get a bit suspicious as well. Like, was it Leo and Carl then? Maybe Leo told him about the plan at some point, and Carl was just like, yeah, okay. Everything okay, Carl? I say it sharply, not bothering to filter out the annoyance in my voice. He looks up at me, a bit surprised. Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. I just feel sicker from the ride down. Smoke too much? Carl frowns. No, I just get sick sometimes when I'm stressed out. The weed makes me feel less sick, actually. I stop myself from asking what it is he's so stressed out about. Are you okay, Chase? I'm good. I shouldn't be drawing attention to myself right now. Meanwhile, Julian is walking around the boulder, looking for the drawing. TJ lets go of my paw finally, and starts to walk around the boulder from the other side. Almost immediately he points excitedly. Oh, Carl, your drawing! Carl sidles up to him before chuckling quietly. Oh yeah, for some reason I thought it'd be gone by now. Why would it be? You chipped it into the rock. Didn't you spend like a month doing that? Carl looks down at his paws. Yeah, fucked up my paws doing it too. I move around to stand next to them, and see the rough outline of a muscular wolf with a long cape. Amicus! Or super wolf, I guess. Carl had been obsessed with that superhero since the new movie was coming out that summer. I don't think he liked it very much, because right after he saw it, he stopped working on the etching. It's actually pretty good, especially when you consider that Carl was like 9 when he did it. I pushed those memories out of my head, wiping out the smiling childhood face of Carl from my mind. Then I seal myself, preparing for what I'm going to say and for what's about to happen. Hey, look at the sand underneath it. Everyone looks down in unison at where I'm pointing my finger. I let it sink in for a moment before I say it. The dirt. It looks someone dug it up recently. No one said anything. Or maybe the sand's just wetter there, I don't know. TJ kneels down next to the boulder, reaching out a paw to steady himself against it, as Julian kneels down across from him. He reaches out with the other paw, poking at the loose-looking dirt, slightly darker than the sand around it. Still, no one says anything, and I decide not to push it further, knowing that I've already planted a seed of doubt in TJ's mind. I love manipulation. We should have grabbed a garden shovel from your house, Carl. Yeah. I pick up the flat rock I used last night. Here. I hand it to Julian. He looks at it for a second before digging the sharp end into the dirt. It sinks in deep and easily before the stag turns out the sand. Less than a minute later, TJ gasps and reaches into the shallow hole, pulling off the lunchbox. Now that there's daylight, I can see the chipped green paint on the dragon. TJ holds it for a moment, staring down at it. Julian looks around at us. Was that Sydney's? I can't remember, but TJ nods and with shaking hands, unlatches the metal clasps. Carl stands further back than the rest of us, motionless. Jenna once again has a paw up to her mouth, not saying anything. TJ opens the lid. The hinges squeak a little as the tin lid flops open, revealing my note. Paw still shaking, TJ reaches in. At this point, there's little hesitation in TJ's movements. He's eager to find out what it says, eager to get this done. TJ unfolds the note, then reads it. The one that I wrote. He doesn't read it aloud, instead letting his eyes go back and forth over the page while the rest of us wait. I know at this point that he's finished reading it, but he still doesn't say anything, eyes glued to the page. TJ? TJ doesn't say anything, continuing to stare. TJ, what does it say? TJ sits there for a few more seconds before he wordlessly holds out the note to no one in particular. His face is blank for the most part, but I can see the shock in his eyes. Julian takes it from him and starts reading. You've reached the end, but I don't have the answers, so I'll ask again. TJ, what happened to Sydney? Oh. Okay. Cool. That makes so much sense. Good on you, Chase. Why is that your secret? What? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess Flynn could have tried to, for some reason, lead us astray by talking about you instead for some reason, but like, why? The silence that follows is one of the heaviest that I've ever experienced. Carl's still frozen, but now he's looking up at Julian. Also, now I'm the one who did this. Could they have thought of something else? Oh my god. What a cool thing to do to the guy who would become your best friend over the course of the week. Jenna's moved her paw from her mouth at this point, but she's clutching her necklace, her eyes on TJ. Julian is just staring at the links, waiting, probably unsure of what any of this means. TJ, meanwhile, stares at the hole that we'd dug up, his paws laying limp in his lap, ears drooping. I start walking over to him. What does it mean? Do you guys know? I rest the paw on TJ's shoulder, touching it softly. He doesn't move. So I crouch down next to him, slowly wrapping an arm around his shoulders, drawing him in. I can feel him trembling. Guys? I look over at Julian with a sad look on my face. We have a friend who has a grudge about this whole thing. I think he might have been the one leaving the notes. TJ shakes his head against me, but doesn't say anything. Julian stares. But why? I shrug, beginning to stroke the top of TJ's head. Julian looks from me to TJ. I don't know, maybe he thought this was his last chance to hurt TJ somehow. I really don't know. But like, dude, why would he be sending those texts the whole time then, if this was the goal? Jenna and Carl have walked up to stand next to us, and both seem to be at a loss for words. Paper's different, though. TJ's voice is distant and faint, muffled against my chest. There are ways to make paper look old. Maybe he just didn't have time with this one. Julian shakes his head. Listen, I know I've only been a part of this for a day, but this is crazy, and those are a lot of assumptions. Do you really know what happened? If you knew this friend of ours like we do, you'd understand how obvious this is. But then Jenna shakes her head as well. No, Flynn wouldn't do this. He's a jerk, but he wouldn't do this. You know that Flynn's been sending TJ threatening texts all week, and that he's been out to fuck with TJ since we got here. Well, yeah, that's kind of exactly why he wouldn't do this. Right? Because if he was just doing this, and we were going on the scavenger hunt and going to find this, why would he need to send the threatening texts? Jenna shakes her head again, but doesn't say anything. He wouldn't. I snap my gaze at Carl, glaring. Dude, even at his worst, he'd never do something like this. It's too fucked up. All of that work just to fuck with us, and it has to do with Sydney? No. And who found the first note? Who's been Flynn's best friend since we all left? Whoa, Chase! Carl's eyes go wide. TJ finally lifts his head, looking up at Carl. You're the one that gave it to us, set us off on this whole bullshit scavenger hunt. Carl takes a step back, mouth hanging open, looking at me like I'm some sort of alien or something. This entire thing was fucking crazy from the start. Our dead friend who left notes behind a decade ago, and somehow it's all still here? In the old school, in that house? Fuck that! Chase, stop it. Jenna's voice is soft and distant, lacking any sort of authority. I stand up suddenly, staring the ram down. How? No! Carl takes another step back, and I can see his chest heaving. He can't even get his words out. Well, yeah, probably because I'm a bit intimidating right now. It's like he's just run a marathon and can't catch his breath. Huh? I don't... Carl clutches his chest, and I can't help but notice how fucking guilty he looks right now. He suddenly retches and gags loudly. Carl, breathe. No, you can't use your fucking anxiety! I make air quotes. Come on, don't put that in air quotes. You monster. As a shield right now. Did Flynn put you up to this? Carl retches again and doubles over, spitting on the ground. Carl. Jenna starts walking toward the ram, but at that moment something rushes past me, then past Jenna. I have a moment to see TJ's back. His tufted ears are laid flat against his head, like he's moved so fast that the wind has pushed them back. There's another quick movement that I can't quite see from my angle. But then Carl's stumbling back, a paw up to his face, letting out a gasp like he'd been holding his breath for 10 minutes. I leant forward, reaching out for TJ as the cat goes in for another swipe. Carl jumps back toward the embankment, and as he does, he lands on the many rocks that separate the beach from the road. Wait. What? Oh, I thought TJ was going to help him. Oh my god, I'm an asshole! I mean, granted, I have some reason to think this way, but like, come on, Jace! I grab the back of TJ's shirt, just as I see Carl's hoof disappear between rocks. Then Carl falls back. There's a sound like a thick branch snapping in two, cutting through the air like a gunshot. Immediately, Carl lets out the most hideous scream I've ever heard the ram make. No! Jenna runs past us, followed by Julian at a more even jog. Meanwhile, I hold on to TJ, the link still going after Carl, making a yowling sound as his claws swipe at the air, baring his teeth. He's wild, feral, not thinking at all. Well, that doesn't really make me hopeful about the situation with Sydney, then. TJ, stop! I'm here! I try talking into the lynx's ear, and at the same time, I feel him starting to go limp in my grasp, the energy and rage slowly going out of him. I finally feel safe enough to turn him around, pulling him into a hug. It's okay. You got him. You're fine. TJ looks toward Carl one last time, watching the ram roll back and forth on his back, choking, howling, and screaming all at once. Oh my god. TJ suddenly turns his face into my chest and starts to cry. Jesus, his ankle. Carl, can you move? But Carl isn't listening, continuing to scream and hyperventilate at the same time. Call an ambulance! I don't know who he's talking to, but Julian pulls out his phone. TJ continues to stab into my chest, and I start to move away, toward the trail, pulling TJ with me. I'm taking TJ back to the motel. Yes, leave please! Jenna snarls at me over her shoulder. Hi, we need paramedics. Yeah, someone here tripped and broke his leg and now he can't get up. Carl, I know it hurts, but you need to breathe. I'm going to count. Jenna's voice fades away as I start fast walking toward the trail, pulling the sobbing TJ along with me. TJ finally pulls away from me when we reach the parking lot and starts walking ahead, hugging himself. I follow behind him at a close distance, listening to him sob for a while. It isn't until we reach the road that he's finally calmed down enough to stop sobbing. I walk quietly behind him for a little bit longer, before finally catching up, walking next to him. He doesn't say anything, and goes on hugging himself, hiccuping softly every once in a while. I wonder if I should say anything, ask him about what happened, or even change the subject completely. Eventually, though, he's the one to speak first. I didn't mean to... He cuts off as he goes into a coughing fit. I rub him on the back gently. It's okay. You don't have to explain yourself after what he did. Do you think... TJ takes a deep breath, finally saying his words. Do you think he really did that? I let the silence drag out a moment before finally replying. Who else could it have been? I completely understand why you went along with all of those notes, but In the end, this was the only realistic conclusion we were going to get to. The note that I left in there... like a friggin' manipulator. Yeah, I just didn't think they'd do something like this. Especially Carl. TJ says Carl's name softly. I still don't know if he did it, but then I remembered what he said when we played Spin the Bottle. I felt like it had to be him. I was just so angry. I've never been so angry in my life. It was scary. I mean, maybe Flynn didn't tell him everything about what was going on. I guess he could have been tricked into thinking Flynn somehow had good intentions in all of this. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm leaning towards, except not Flynn, but Leo. The very obvious other option here, that you haven't even given a single thought somehow. His leg. TJ covers his face like he's about to start crying again. I quickly put my arm around him and hold him close. Hey, this isn't your fault. Honestly, he deserved that scratch you gave him. He fell on his own. TJ shakes his head. I can't even remember what happened. I just started running at him like I wasn't in control. It was like it was all automatic or something. Him too? Him too? What? What are you talking about, Chase? What are you thinking about? Him too? TJ. I stopped the lynx and turned toward me, even though he keeps covering up his face. This is not your fault. What Flynn and Carl did to you is absolutely disgusting, and honestly, I'm amazed that you were able to hold yourself back as much as you did. But the sounds he was making, it sounded so awful. TJ's face screws up under his paws. I hug him again. No, he only had a taste of the pain you're feeling on the inside. Now, stop thinking about him. It's over. This whole thing is over. TJ starts crying softly again, and I hold him closer, letting him get it out of his system. Over her shoulder, I can see the ambulance lights flashing, though they don't have the siren on. I'm thankful for that, at least. My phone buzzes in my pocket a few times, but I ignore it, waiting until the lynx's soft sobs taper out. I turn him away from the lake so he doesn't see the lights, and we keep walking slowly up the road. Less than a mile away, the motel sign glints in the sunlight. TJ shuffles along, continuing his quiet snuffling. Did you want to leave today? I don't know. Maybe. Well, let's get back to the motel and sit down for a while, okay? Then we can decide what we want to do. Okay. TJ's breathing evens out again as we get closer to the motel. But why do you think Flynn would do that? It doesn't make any sense. I shrug. Well, like I said yesterday, I think now that he knows he isn't going to get the answers he wants, he's just out to hurt us now. That's it, really. You were right. I guess I just didn't think he could be capable of that. I mean, you always see the best in people. There's nothing wrong with that. TJ doesn't respond, and we're silent the rest of the way there. The first thing TJ does when we get inside is lay on the bed and stare at the ceiling. I check my texts and see that they're all from Jenna. They say Carl just broke his ankle, and that he's going to be fine. Julian is driving me to the hospital so we can sit with Carl and bring him back when they're done. By the way, when they asked Carl what happened, he said he just slipped on a rock and fell. He said that's where the scratch came from too. I assume he doesn't want us to tell anyone about what happened. You should think about checking out early. I'm probably going to a friend's house in Peyton after this. I stare at the last text, wondering what exactly it means. She's going to a friend's house and that's just it? Almost sounds like she's just done with us. I guess one good thing came out of this then. Why do you dislike Jenna? What did she do? Carl's going to be fine. He told the paramedics that he slipped on a rock, so I don't think he's going to be, like, pressing charges or anything. TJ covers his face, and I hope he isn't about to cry again, but when he starts talking, his voice is steady and even. I'm going to have to see him before we leave. I don't want to leave this town like this. He sounds defeated, like he knows things are now ruined beyond any sort of repair. I suddenly feel a wave of compassion and love for Lynx, the one purely good person in this shit town. I get up and drape myself over the bed next to TJ. He looks up in surprise, ears perked and twitching, his stuffs waving around in the most adorable way. Listen, I know we can't just forget what happened back there, and I know we can't just fix everything, but... I pause and wait until TJ looks up at me. I want to spend the rest of this weekend together and just have fun. There's not really much else we can do. TJ looks back up at the ceiling. But what about your project? I laugh. Dude, that doesn't matter anymore. I'll just retake the class over the summer or something. That doesn't sound good. I don't want to cause you to fail. You're not. I'm making this decision. TJ continues to stare at the ceiling, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I just broke Carl's leg. Carl fell and broke his leg, TJ. No, I did it. Things are so messed up now. His voice starts to go up high again, and I quickly put a paw on his shoulder. Shh, we can't think about that anymore. It's over. I rub his shoulder comfortingly. You know what? Let's go to Peyton. Get out of this crappy town and do something, okay? TJ lets out a shuddery sigh. Maybe. I just need a minute. Okay. I roll over and look out the window through the blinds, feeling like I've accomplished something. I don't know, Chase. I wouldn't be so confident about that. Things went a little further than what I'd planned on, but it's working out for the best. I don't know about that. I don't know, Chase. My main issue now is figuring out what the hell Flynn and Carl were planning with all that bullshit, and what all they know. Well, what did they write on the letter about... Or what did they write on the letter about me, for some reason? Assuming it had been them at all, but as of right now I can't imagine who else it could have been. I don't know. Why don't you give some consideration to the one person you haven't thought about at all? Oh my god, it's so hot in here. I think I'm gonna have to take my shirt off. Good thing I'm not on camera. I mean, it's not that hot. It's like 24 or 25 degrees, but it's enough to make me uncomfortably sweat in my shirt. I feel a little guilty about what happened to Carl, but I had to show everyone how stupid and crazy the whole thing was. And just then, I see Flynn's truck roll into the parking lot. I tense up, staring in disbelief. What the hell reason would he have to come here? I'm only frozen up for a moment before I suddenly swing my legs off the bed. I don't know if TJ's looking. I hope not, as I start closing the blinds. Now close these so the sun isn't shining in your eyes. And I'm gonna make a call to Jenna to make sure things are going alright, okay? I look back, and I'm relieved to see TJ only now looking over at me. Okay, tell her I'm sorry. I will. Now get some rest. I try not to look like I'm in a hurry as I go to the door and open it just wide enough for me to slide out. Flynn's truck pulls into a parking space about 20 feet away, and I jog over to him before he can get out. Hey. I say, just as he opens the door. He looks at me coldly for a moment, before getting out and slamming the door shut. Hey. We stand there awkwardly for a full 10 seconds, but Flynn doesn't say anything. You need something? Why do you think I'm here, Chase? I shrug. I have no idea, Flynn. Flynn stares at me for a few more seconds as he chews at a toothpick in his mouth. You were down by the lake. That's a really weird thing to assume, Flynn. Flynn scoffs. Don't play with me. I see ambulance lights over by the lake, and 10 minutes later I get a text from Carl telling me he hurt his leg. Really, Flynn? People go down by the lake all the time. It could have been anyone. No one goes down by the lake. I know you've been sneaking around the town doing shady shit with Teet and Jen. I keep on a straight face, refusing to crack under Flynn's pressure. The only reason why I didn't ask you what the fuck you were doing is because I know you all hate me right now. But if you really went down there together, that's fucked. Why is that fucked, Flynn? Because you decided it's off limits for everyone else because it makes you feel bad? Fuck off. Flynn's eyes widen for a moment. Do not fuck with me on this chase. You know that's the last thing I ever want to hear from you. It's strange how I feel right now. Normally I'd be trying to calm the lizard, try to talk him through his temper and past trauma, but now I don't care. Because I think he did it. I mean, I guess it would have made sense for him to use it as a sort of test to be like, will they go there? Will they stoop that low? But, just like with Carl, I don't care how far this goes. And that's probably the problem here, because you haven't thought about it this clearly. You haven't thought this through. Chase, come on. This is his fault in the end. What if it isn't? I can't believe you, Flynn. You start this whole thing, and now you try to act like the victim. It's fucking disgusting. Flynn gives me a baffled look. What are you talking about? You mean what I said by the river? Actually, yeah, that was probably the start of it. How does that lead to you assholes fucking around by the lake? You know exactly how. I watch Flynn carefully, trying to see if I can sense anything in his demeanor, in his expressions. I've never really known him to lie, but if he's lying right now, then he's fucking amazing at it, because all I can sense is bewilderment. He must have a lot of experience with lying. Chase, what the fuck is up with you right now? What do you mean? You're acting like an ass. Oh, so now you know how we all feel when you talk to us. Flynn stares at me, studying me, then he looks up. Who's here? No one. The fuck? Where's TJ and Jenna? Not here. Flynn glances down at me. Well, I gotta take a piss, so can I come in? No. We stare each other down for a long, long time. Finally, Flynn pushes past me. Well, I'm gonna give the door a knock to see if anyone's there. Maybe you missed them. I whirl around and follow him angrily. He doesn't want to talk to you. Flynn turns on me. Oh, so TJ's here then? Why didn't you tell me that? Why do you think? Flynn, you need to leave right now. Flynn glares down at me. I know you guys are up to something having to do with Sydney. If that's the case, then I have every right to know. Flynn starts walking again. And he has every right to talk to me himself. I dart around Flynn and stand in front of the lizard, glaring up at him, bracing myself once again. Get out of my way, Chase. Leave him alone. Flynn pauses. All I want to do is talk. That's it. I let out a mirthless laugh. After what you did at the river? Hell no. Flynn tries to push me around me again. I grab his arm. He swings, tries to yank it back, and I shove him back towards the truck. Leave. I'd be yelling right now, but I don't want TJ to hear us through the thin motel walls. Don't fucking touch me and get out of my fucking way! He tries again, and this time I grab his arm and yank him away, swinging him like Leo did at the river. He might be tall, but I'm kind of amazed at how easily I can manipulate Flynn's body like a mannequin. Either that, or I just don't know my own strength. Flynn rolls with a curse and immediately pops back up, taking an awkward swing at my head. Fucking little prick. I duck his punch and tackle him around the waist, knocking us both to the asphalt as Flynn grunts loudly. Ugh! I scramble on top of the lizard and sit on his chest, pinning his arms under my knees. Again, he can barely move under me. Weak. Weak. I snarl down at him, raising a fist. Flynn flinches, closing his eyes and turning his head away. I pause, letting the tension build. Finally, I slowly lower it. Leave, Flynn. Otherwise I'm gonna cave your fucking face in. I'm tired of you bullying TJ, and taking out all your problems on the rest of us, and just being a miserable piece of shit all your life. I keep my voice low, almost growling like a canine. Flynn cracks open an eye, looking up at me in fear. I fucking hate you. I always have, and you deserve to have every single one of your fucking teeth knocked out for the way you've always treated us. I look back toward the door, but it's closed, quiet. I look back down at Flynn. Leave, and I never want to see your ugly fucking face ever again, understand? Flynn just stares up at me. I can see the fear still, and maybe even a little hurt. What happened, Chase? I don't say anything. I know he isn't going to fight anymore. I get up, and Flynn lays there for a moment, staring at me. Finally, he rolls over and gets to his feet unsteadily. Then, without a word, he gets back into his truck and starts it up. I turn away finally, hearing the lizard pull out of the parking lot as I open the door to the motel. I am relieved to see TJ sitting on the bed, looking down at his phone. Yeah, so he didn't see me, just freaking abusing Flynn there. Reminds me of that scene with me and Sydney. Or Chase and Sydney, not me. I don't want to associate with this guy. I was positive that he'd heard something. He looks up when he hears the door open. Hey. Hey, Tej. What did she say? Carl's good. The doctors are checking him out. She said you're fine and that she understands why you did it. But I guess she's a little stressed out too because she's going to a friend's house in Peyton. Oh. TJ's ears lower. I think she just wants to give you space. Maybe. I did get a text from Julian. Oh, really? There is that twinge of irritation. Yeah, said he was going to stop by after he drops off Carl. I was thinking we could wait until then before we leave, to talk to Julian at least. I don't think Carl wants to see me. Okay. I try not to let the anger creep into my voice as I sit down on the bed next to the Lynx. And Chase? Yeah? TJ smiles at me through his puffy eyes and matted cheek fur. Thank you for being there for me. It means a lot. It's late afternoon by the time Julian arrives to pick us up from the motel. Things are predictably awkward at first, as the stag drives us out of the town in silence. I'm just happy that I've managed to sit between him and TJ again, leaving the lynx to stare out his window as the desert landscape passes by. I watch Julian as his thumbs tap idly at the steering wheel, before he suddenly sits up straight. Oh, Chase, you left your camera in the truck bed yesterday. I forgot to tell you. He glances over at me, and I nod. Ah, yeah, probably should have remembered that. Do you want me to pull over so you can grab it out? I don't know how you feel about it sliding around back there while we're on the highway. I shrug. Should be fine. It's probably been through worse, considering it's a crap rental from the university. Julian starts tapping away at the steering wheel again. So, your friend seems okay. He'll need to rest for a few months to recover, but he doesn't seem too worried about that. I snort. Of course not. Yeah. Anyway, what was it you guys wanted to do? Julian leans forward a bit to glance at TJ. I just wish he'd keep his fucking eyes on the road. I nudge the lynx, and he snaps his gaze from the window to look at us. Huh? I was asking what you wanted to do tonight, TJ. Oh, I'm not really sure. We could go see a movie, maybe. Anything out that you want to see? Not really. You know, I used to do this thing where I'd get a random ticket to a movie I'd never heard of before. I'd have no expectations, so usually I'd be pleasantly surprised. Oh, that sounds kind of fun, as long as it's not R-rated. Yeah, so the way I do... Why don't we go to the Familyplex? I cut Julian off, looking over at TJ. The Familyplex? Yeah, you remember that place. You remember that place, right? We'd go there as kids for birthdays and stuff. The old rundown arcade thing at the mall? Yeah. TJ seems to perk up a bit. I haven't been there for like 10 years. That could be a lot of fun. If it's still open. I haven't been to that corner of the mall in a long time. It is. Well, alright then. So, should we go there? There's a moment of silence before TJ shifts next to me. Yeah, let's do that. The Familyplex is basically as I remember it. Like TJ has said, a good decade had passed since we'd been there, maybe more. But the ugly, stained carpet and sickly colored walls still cover the place, a real relic of the 80s and 90s. Still, I'm happy to see TJ's smile as we walk in, his adorably wide eyes scanning the place as I'm sure he's hit with that same sense of nostalgia. Oh my gosh, everything is exactly the same! The look on Julian's face is slightly less enthusiastic. Even smells the same. I kinda like it, actually. Reminds me of a movie theater. Same. It's really just the popcorn and recycled air from the AC. I realize then what a fucking stick in the mud Julian is, but I ignore him, instead following TJ as we make our way to the machines. Luckily, the place is mostly empty. There's a group of teenagers being loud and annoying over by the air hockey tables, but otherwise we have the place to ourselves. For a moment, we just stand there, then Julian reaches into his pocket. You guys want to chip in some money and I can go get us a few rolls of quarters? I take out a 5, and so does Julian, while TJ hands over a 10. Wow, Teach, that's a lot. I only have 10s. Besides, we'll go through them fast. We always do. Julian walks off to the front counter, while TJ and I wait awkwardly next to the skee ball ramp. I feel like things wouldn't be so tense if Julian wasn't here, and I feel myself getting progressively annoyed by his presence. I'm about to ask TJ how he's feeling when Julian comes back with 2 rolls of quarters. So, we have 2 rolls. You want me to count out your shares, or...? I shake my head. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we're just here to hang out anyway. TJ takes one of the rolls and tears off one end. You guys want a skee ball? Sure. You know, I've always been pretty good with this game. I take the open roll of quarters from TJ and take out one of my own, inserting it into the neighboring skee ball machine. There are only 2, and I kinda hope that Julian might just wander away, but he stays right there behind TJ, watching. I sigh and insert my coin, watching as the little balls roll out into the little compartment. You know, someone just drove by, and I'm wondering if it looks a little suspicious if you're, like, watching me through the window just recording shirtless. Like, is that a cam girl? But no, it's just hot here. Sort of. Meanwhile, TJ is having a terrible time, each one of his balls rolling into the scoreless gutter. I roll my first ball and watch as it misses the 40 and rolls into the 10 gutter. Don't worry about it, Tej. Want me to show you how? Julian moves next to me, and I grit my teeth in annoyance, moving over a bit. The stag flicks the ball expertly down the ramp, and it lands squarely in the 40. Wow, on your first try, too! Honestly, I'm out of practice, but usually I go for the hundreds in the corner. How do you do it? Well... Julian grabs a hold of TJ's wrist, and I feel my fur starting to stand up on my neck and shoulders. It's all on the wrist. He moves TJ's arms forward, before bending the length of his wrist. Oh, I see. TJ tries again, and this time gets the 10. But on his second try, he landed in the 50. Nice! Julian holds up his paw, and TJ slaps it loudly. The stag laughs, then looks over at me. You alright, Chase? You still got 4 balls. I do? I thought there were only 2. That's a terrible joke. Oh my god. Cut that out. Without a word, I turn back to my machine and huck the balls down the ramp, each one landing in the gutter. Meanwhile, I listen to Julian and TJ celebrate another 50. For the rest of the night, I follow TJ and Julian around, the stag showing the cat how best to play the games. All the while I stand next to them, dumping my quarters in the games I don't even finish. I just want us to run out so we can leave. The drive back is quiet and tense. TJ and Julian asked me multiple times at the family plex if I was alright, until I finally told them I just had a headache. When in actuality, I was jealous. I was a jealous little boy. I stopped their questioning for the most part, and luckily that prompted TJ to propose we just go back to the motel. I tense up again when he offers Julian to spend the night there, but luckily the stag declines, wanting to go back home to his own bed. As we drive, I notice TJ nodding off, his head bumping the glass of his window. You can lean against me, TJ. TJ's ears flick, flushing a bit. Oh, really? I mean, I don't want to... As an answer, I reach over to clasp the side of TJ's face before I force the length of his head to lean sideways against my shoulder. TJ stiffens up, but then he relaxes, and 5 minutes later, I can tell that he's fallen into a light sleep. Julian glances over at us occasionally, but doesn't say anything. I lean my cheek against the top of TJ's head. I realize how good it feels to sort of envelop him like this. It feels like I'm protecting him. All those bad, tense feelings from the arcade start to melt away. Pretty soon, I start to drift off as well, the smooth drone of the highway lulling me to sleep. I open my eyes and see the back of a rusty white sedan pulled off on the side of the road. Julian's pulling off as well, behind the car. The sun's already getting low in the sky, a little bit of cloud cover rolling in from the west. That's when I realize there's a large coyote standing next to the car, leaned over and looking at the front left wheel. She stands up when our headlights hit her, and she shields her eyes against the light. Janice. Julian shuts his headlights off. Looks like he's got a flat. TJ wakes up, and I'm a bit disappointed to feel him shift off of my shoulder. What's going on? Julian's already hopping out of the car, walking up to the now grinning Janice as she sets her paws on her hips. Well, now what are you doing out here, Julie? I can hear her loud, obnoxious voice even with the doors closed. Janice has a flat. Want to go back to sleep until Julian's helped her? TJ shakes his head, shifting himself to open the door and hop out. I sigh as he leaves, pushing myself across the seat to jump out as well. Chase and Tobias too? She turns her psychotic grin on us. Yeah, we were having a night out. Anyway, do you need any help? Well, you know, Julian, I actually do. I don't have my own jack. Been missing for the past 15 years. Julian smiles back warmly. Well, I've got one. Do you have a spare? Yep, in the back. Hope it's not flat too. Haven't had to use that thing in a while. Well, go ahead and pop the trunk and we'll see what we've got. I'll go get my jack. Julian jogs back to the truck, while TJ and I stand behind Janice's car. Sadly, that's when the old coyote turns her attention on us. Well, how are you two doing this evening? I'm doing well, thanks. I want to thank you again for doing all that yard work during your vacation. Seems I'm always out here just needing help. Oh, it was no trouble at all, man. I'm happy to let TJ do the talking, just wanting to get this all over with as soon as possible so that we can head back to the motel. And then she's gonna start talking to me, isn't she? I squint as Julian's headlights come back on, and he hops out of his truck. Just want to give us a little more light. Janice pops the trunk and lifts it up, revealing a cluttered mess inside. She brushes it all aside and lifts up the flap, revealing an old, rusty spare tire. Oh my god, my voice is getting so tired. You can probably hear it at this point. I wonder how I'm gonna do the endings on this route, though, because, I'm pretty sure there are multiple. Even if there aren't, I'm still gonna try to do the different choices here to see if something changes. Like, I don't know how long those other endings are gonna be or how different they're gonna be. they exist. On this route, she brushes it all aside and lifts up the flap, revealing an old, rusty spare tire. She nudges at it, testing the air pressure before lifting it out. Well, it's a little inflated, but it should be enough to get me to Duke's house. I know he's got a few tires I can probably use. If not, I'll just get him to drive out and buy me one. Julian kneels down next to Janice's car, setting up the jack. We stand there in silence for a bit, watching the stag as he works. Speaking of your vacation, it wasn't really a vacation for you, was it, Chase? My heart sinks a bit as the dumb yote turns her attention directly on me. I grunt politely in question, keeping my gaze on Julian to show Janice that I'm definitely not interested in what she has to say. Well, that grumpy lizard Flynn was telling me about it in the diner a few days back. Something about you wanting to document the spooky stuff in town. Ah. I try to think of a way to keep things uninteresting so she doesn't ask any more questions. Sort of. Mainly I just wanted to find some information on a murder that happened like 100 years ago. Couldn't find much out. Oh, Flynn made it sound more like one of those ghost documentaries that I like to watch sometimes. I had a few stories for you. I keep my eyes firmly on Julian's paw as he starts to crank the jack. Then CJ nudges me. Hey, are there any rules against it being a ghost documentary? I sigh, though I try to keep it quiet for TJ's sake. Well, it's more of a news piece, so a ghost story wouldn't really work, I don't think. Actually, I've seen segments on the news about ghosts. I don't know if they're serious, but when someone catches something on camera, sometimes they'll play it. I shrug. Well, even if that is the case, it probably won't give me a very good grade. It's better than no grade at all. TJ smiled encouragingly at me, and I can't help but smile back. He always has a way of cheering me up, no matter how bad of a mood I'm in. That's the spirit. Besides, it could just be about the history of it, rather than making it seem real, even if it is real. I sigh again, though this time I don't try to cover it up. Janice either doesn't notice or doesn't care. So, would you like to hear them? Yeah, let me grab my notepad real quick. I walk over to Julian's truck, listening to Janice as she babbles excitedly to TJ about how scary it is. I try to unzip the bag, but the ledge of the truck bed is too tall, so I have to grab the whole fucking thing and trudge it back over to the car. I unzip the side pocket and pull out my notepad and pen. Then I stand up straight and look at Janice expectantly. The coyote sits on the ledge of the trunk, making the car shift. Julian pauses, eyes wide, as I'm sure he thought the sedan was about to topple off the jack. Well, let's see. I can start with what my grandpa told me. Yeah, that works. Actually, that's great, because it's happening right here in these very woods. Janice gestures off the side of the road at the trees. So, my grandpa was taking a walk in there with my grandma and I want to say sometime in the 40s, right after they were married. They were walking along one of the little trails in there. And as they were, they started hearing this strange sound in the trees, like something scuttling up and down the branches. They kept looking, but couldn't see anything. TJ hugs himself and rubs his arms with his paws. Wow, that's creepy. Oh, that ain't the half of it, Tobias. The thing is, as they kept walking, those sounds followed them, and then... Janice lowers her voice, and despite my annoyance, I have to draw in a bit closer to hear her next words. They started to hear it talk. Hear what talk? TJ is fully drawn in by Janice's theatrics, and I have to struggle not to roll my eyes. Well, whatever it was, it started talking down to them. Janice pauses and glances at me, and I make sure not to give her anything, staring glassy-eyed at my notepad. What did it say? Well, just strange things like, "You're here," and "I see you." Though my grandpa said he wasn't even sure if it was talking to them, really. He said that when it started to just laugh, that's when he and Grandma started running. Even then, it followed them. He said it sounded like it was rising in the air and landing from tree to tree, following them until they got out. At this point, TJ is just frowning, and I have to force myself to jot down the stupid notes. Well, what was it? Janice shrugs. Don't know. Grandpa only told me the story once, when he went on a family walk in the forest. I asked him why, and he told me. I asked Grandma too, but she just pretended she couldn't hear me. Thing is, my grandpa's not a liar. That I can promise you. I scribbled in the notepad, pretending to write all this down. Oh, he also said it sounded mechanical, kind of like it was coming through a machine or computer. That's weird, because I didn't really have those back then. A moment of silence goes by as I wait for Janice to go on. When she doesn't, I look up. So, that's it? Oh yeah, did you think they'd actually see something? I shrug. Anything else? Janice thinks. Well, there's this bear at the road named Brian. One time he told me a story about seeing some aliens around here. UFOs and such. This time I can't stop my eyes from rolling, but again, Janice either doesn't see or ignores it. Said back when he was a teenager, he saw a flying saucer as he went past by the lake. I don't even bother to move my pen, but Janice just keeps going. You know, I was listening to this podcast a while back. You know, those radio shows on the internet? Oh yeah, I love listening to those when I work out. Well, there's this paranormal one that I listen to that really goes in depth on this kind of stuff. And you know, we've all heard the story about gold in a quartz deposit. Yep. Well, Janice lowers her voice, leaning in, like she's discovered the best-kept secret in the entire world. In the podcast, they were going on about how places with lots of quartz end up being more haunted. You know why? I don't say anything, so TJ chimes in. Why? Well, the quartz captures stuff from the past, like really emotional, angry stuff, and sometimes, when things line up just right, they play it back. Only when they do, it's all twisted up and mixed with other stuff. Makes what you see really awful and horrible looking. But you know... Janice pauses again. What? I think there's more to it than that. I think there's something with a conscious mind behind it all, here in Echo. I finally have to break in. Has anything happened to you, specifically? You know, it's better if I have something straight from the source rather than secondhand. Janice finally goes quiet then, eyes flicking down to look at the ground. Julian, meanwhile, has pulled off the tire and is fitting the spare in place. Well, maybe. I grit my teeth. What do you mean? Janice lets out a soft, mirthless chuckle. Let's just say I've seen things I've promised not to tell anyone about, Chase. I can't tell if she's joking or not, so I just go along with it. Oh, you order a hit on someone? Maybe, Chase. TJ stands there, a mortified expression on his face. I look down at my camera bag. Well, I think it might be good to get some footage of the trees in there while there's still a little light. If I'm gonna do the whole ghost story thing, then I better give it a horror movie vibe. Oh, that sounds wonderfully spooky. I start towards the tree line, then look back at TJ. You wanna come with? Oh! TJ looks back at Janice and Julian, the latter of which is screwing in the tire. Go on, TJ. Give us some company in there. Especially after I told you all that story. Janice cackles, causing the car to shake again. Besides, I don't mind keeping Julian company, in the meantime. Julian grunts as he keeps his focus on the tire. Well, okay. With that, TJ and I cross the ditch into the forest, following the little trail that weaves through the trees. As the darkness of the forest engulfs us, I look back at TJ and see him timidly moving along, looking at the trees nervously. I grin. Are you scared? TJ looks over at me with a start. Oh, He lets out a soft laugh. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I pause, waiting for the lynx to catch up to me, and I hold out my paw to him. He stares at it for a moment, as if not comprehending what it is. I stubbornly keep it outstretched. No one's gonna see. TJ seems to think for a moment. Then I see the lynx wipe his paw on his pants quickly, before reaching out to take mine. I pull TJ along through the forest, glancing up occasionally to see if I can find a patch of sky sufficient enough for the shot I want. Don't worry, man. You know I saw something in here too? What? TJ's busy looking off into the trees, his ears perked, listening. Yep. When I was a kid, I thought I saw a fox hanging from the trees. Oh my gosh, please don't tell me this right now. I frown. Listen, what I realize is that sometimes people hallucinate things. I'd rather just not talk about it right now. All I'm saying is that the stories that Janice told us aren't real, and even if they are, those people hallucinated, that's it. Well, sure, but that doesn't mean I won't still freak out if I do see something. I squeeze the lynx's paw in mine, shaking it around a little. Well, you've got me if that happens. TJ squeezes back. There's a slight resistance in his grasp, though, as if he's trying to pull back from me, while at the same time holding on to me. Chase, have you been feeling alright? I feel fine. I stop on the path, looking up at a little patch of dusky sky above me, almost spherical and perfect for the shot that I'm gonna get. Because you seem a little bit off, especially when we were at the family plex. And I know we've all been a little off since what happened. I was feeling really, really weird the past few days. I set the bag on the path, unzipping the main compartment and pulling out the camera. Maybe you're feeling the same way that I was? I shrug, turning the camera on. I feel fine, Tej. TJ suddenly places a paw on my arm, and that gives me pause. Chase, are you sure? He's looking me directly in the eye, his paw pads warming the fur and skin under them, chasing away the chill of the evening. It's his wide blue eyes that catch my attention, though. They're sincere, kind, and full of love. It's then that I realize what TJ's trying to tell me. After all this time we've spent together over the week, getting to know each other better, talking about our future plans, it's only now that I realize. I stand up straight, facing the Lynx more directly, a soft smile on my lips. TJ looks up at me, eyes looking over my face, as if searching for something. I lean in and kiss him. There it is. It lasts a moment. Our lips meet, mine on his for the first time. It's a moment of pure bliss, and I close my eyes to show the Lynx just how passionate I am about it. I feel his lips freeze up against mine, then suddenly they're gone. I open my eyes in time to see TJ stumbling backwards. One paw flies up to his mouth as the other stretches out behind himself, as if worried he's going to run into the trees. I guess I surprised him. I smile and follow the cat, reaching out my paws. You alright? As I reach for him, he pushes my paws away. I frown. What? What was that? TJ is whispering, but it's a loud sort of whisper, almost deafening in the quiet forest. What do you mean? I kissed you. TJ, I love you. The look of pure shock and horror on TJ's face stuns me. I mean, I think you were being a little presumptuous, but then again, I don't know anything about this stuff. I've never dated anyone, so... What? What are you talking about? TJ, you're asking really dumb questions right now. You heard me. I feel myself getting a little irritated. I just bared my soul to him, and now he's acting like I just told him a terrible secret. I mean, if he doesn't like you back, then... But you mean like a friend? No, I mean like a boyfriend, a lover. I reach out again, but this time TJ twists away from me, and then starts to back up, back the way we came from. Yeah, that's gotta put things in a whole new context now, for him. I follow him. Well, how come? I can see his rapid breathing, his wide eyes like a cornered animal. I feel myself get angrier. Oh, what do you mean, how come? Do I need to explain this to you? TJ keeps backing up, and I see what looks like fear in his eyes. I don't understand it at all. He starts to turn around, but I grab his arm. Hey, you flirt with me all fucking week and you're asking why? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't think he was... Well, I don't know. I don't know if he knows either. Chase, let me go. He tries to pull away weakly, but I yank him forward so hard his teeth clack together in front of my face. He gasps. You make eyes at me across the table at the diner while we're doing yard work at Janice's house, and you don't get why? Why the hell am I getting so angry? Let me go! TJ's still whispering, but it's getting louder. So you were just leading me on? I feel my voice break as it rises in volume as well. What is happening? Why am I doing this? Is this a dream? Were you leading me the fuck on, TJ? I see tears brimming in TJ's eyes, and he looks away from me, like a kid that just got caught doing something wrong. Do I need to tell you again? TJ, I fucking love you. I've known it since I picked you up from the college. Listen to me. I pull him closer, but as I do, he lashes out. I see a flash of light, and the next thing I know, TJ's escaped my grasp. My paw is still stuck out in the air as I watch the Lynx disappear through the trees. Soon, the sounds of his footsteps fade as well, and I'm left alone in the deathly quiet forest. I stare for a long time, listening to the nothingness, maybe waiting for TJ to come back, or for Julian to come up the path to beat me up. But nothing happens. I don't know how long I stand there, but then when I look up, I see that the sun is finally set. Did I even take any shots of the forest? I numbly lift the camera in my other hand, still holding onto it like I was when I kissed TJ. Slowly, I walk over to the bag and kneel down, putting the camera away. That's when I feel the nape of my neck prickle. TJ? I look back hopefully, but the path is empty. The forest, though. The trees and branches and leaves that outline the path, just before it curves out of sight, just 15 feet ahead of me. There's a shape in the trees, the shape of legs, arms, a torso, and maybe a head. The shadowy figure seems to blend into the leaves, almost melting into the twilight. I blink hard, but when I open my eyes, the figure is still there, unmoving, unchanged. That's when I realize that even though I'm holding my breath, I can still hear breathing. It comes from the direction of the shape, even though it doesn't move at all. It looks like a painting. Slowly, I stand up. It doesn't move. I start to walk forward, and that's finally when it changes. I thought it said charges. I was like, okay, well, we're getting into it now. But not quite. Maybe. It starts to melt back into the trees, but the branches and leaves don't move. It moves through them. Then, as I reach the bend of the path, it fades into nothing. But the breathing continues. I look around finally, and see that it's gotten dark to the point that I can hardly make anything out. Everything that you see is twisted from what it once was. But what is it? It was something once, just like I was, but nothing here is obligated to make sense to you. Okay, well that's good to know. I can just keep my head empty, no thoughts. But what does it want? What does anything here want? The only thing you know for sure is that it's evil. And just like that, I'm running up the rest of the path, feeling as if the branches are clawing at me, trying to pull me back into the forest. Oh god, it's getting louder. And still, the breathing continues just over my shoulder, growing ragged with my own, following me, chasing me. I feel it closing in on me, gasping, taking on a robotic tone, as if someone's taking their last breaths through a phone, and I'm the one on the other end listening to it. The crackling breath hisses out, then rises up into a screech of static and noise, and I break through the trees, landing in the ditch, and jamming 2 fingers in the process. I throw my paws out to catch myself. I don't care, though. I scramble out of the ditch, gasping for breath. I look up, hoping to see TJ, Julian, even Janice, but no one's there. Both cars are gone. I'm left alone on the road, in the silence and increasing darkness. I walk back to the motel alone. And I probably don't have my camera, so no! My project! I hope to see Julian's truck in the parking lot when I get there, but it isn't. Instead, there's the typical 2 or 3 cars, along with my own. I still have hope as I make my way to the door. Maybe TJ will be in the bathroom taking a shower. Maybe he'll already be asleep. Maybe he'll be awake and we could just forget what happened. Chat until it's late, order a pizza like we did at Carl's house. I don't think that's an option anymore. But as I press the keycard to the lock and it flashes green and I open the door, I don't see TJ at all. It's dark and empty. And that's when I... Okay. And that's finally when I realize that TJ is left to me as well. My mind is blank as I walk through the motel room, only then realizing that I left the camera in the forest. No! I don't care though, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. I curl up on the bed and cry for a long time. I don't care how loud I am. I'm sure if anyone here hears it, they've heard worse. The employee at the front desk probably hears it every week, because that's just the way the sound is. I fall asleep. Wait. There's no other days after this one. When I wake up, I can't move. I don't care, though. It doesn't matter anymore. Even though I know better, I open my eyes. Weirdly enough, the motel is as I left it, disheveled with the lights on. Nothing horrible at all, until I hear footsteps at the base of my bed. I brace myself for it, but I keep my eyes open. I don't know why. I guess it feels like I'm punishing myself for what I did to TJ. I lay there on my side, curled up and waiting as the footsteps make their way around the bed. I don't know what I expect my mind to conjure up. Maybe the demon in the forest, the evil electric creature that breathed into my ear as I ran from it, jumping from tree to tree behind me. But what I didn't expect to see is a small, old kit fox in a button-up shirt and a tie. I watch as he sets the card down on the little table next to my bed. I get a moment to see a silver ring on his finger and the worn black claws. Then he picks up a bottle from the table that isn't there and takes a swig from it. Okay. Then he moves over to the closet rod, clothes that I don't recognize hanging from it. He's got a cord of some kind in his paws. He starts to tie it up on the rod while the other end gets tied around his neck. I know what he's doing, and now I try to close my eyes, but something seems to hold them open. I think that's called sleep paralysis. This is too real. The fox braces himself against the wall, and I see his face clearly. Kind, weary, hopeless. And then he sits. But he doesn't completely sit, because the cord pulls taut, and he's left with his legs at a loose slant on the ground. I see his eyes bulge, turning red, and at the same time, those eyes meet mine, and I think he sees me. I gasp and sit up in the bed, but he doesn't disappear, he lingers. It's only when he starts to go into convulsions that he begins to fade away. I hug my knees, my back pressed against the headboard of the bed, as the fox continues to stare at me, then completely disappears. It was real. It was real. Was. Something's different. Something's wrong in the air. A sound from the bathroom makes me look over at the closed door. Something's in there. Automatically, I get up. It's like I'm not in control of my body anymore. It's like I'm still in a dream, even though I know I'm not. I get to the door and stand there a little while, listening to the breathing inside. And then I open it. I stand there for a while, staring in. Is it the first time we've actually gotten to look at the bathroom? I think so. Also, what the fuck? That painting looks like the exact picture that's framed up on my wall next to me. What the hell? Like, it's not... the composition isn't exactly the same, but it looks like it could be the same picture. Just, like, blurred. What the fuck? That's the creepiest thing I've seen in this game so far. I stand there for a while, staring in. The light from the room pours out into the bathroom, but it isn't enough to show me anything out of the ordinary. I feel it, though. There's an energy in there pulling me in. Slowly, I step inside, looking around, my heart hammering in my chest. Okay, from the last time we went into the bathroom, I'm not excited. I'm not scared. Not anymore. It's a sort of anticipation instead of fear. Like I've been waiting for this ever since I got to Echo. For the bathroom? I don't know if I believe in ghosts now, but I know what's happening here is real. I wait, feeling the cold tiles of the bathroom against the pads of my feet. I'm not sure how long I stand there in complete silence. It could be anywhere from 1 minute to 10, but that's finally when I get an answer. Close the door, close the door. I don't hear anything, but I feel it, and I feel it coming from my left. I look, but I don't see anything. This isn't like the other times, when I'd hear him inside my head. No, the voice inside me is hiding right now, like even he's afraid of this. Still, I sense it, and even though I start to feel that fear again, I reach out for the door. Close it, close the door. For a brief moment, I have a sudden realization of where I am, what I'm doing, and what's happening, but that's not enough to stop me. Please tell me that what's about to happen is not what I think is going to happen. There's a haze over my mind, over everything, like I'm in a deep, dark dream that I can't come up from. I think I've lost my mind, or I'm dead. Either way, it doesn't matter anymore. I push the door closed, but not fully, letting just a crack of light in so that through the mirror, I can see the outline of fur on the left side of my head. But as I'm looking at that, I start to get the feeling that it's not me in the mirror. I look shorter, smaller, and something's wrong with my face. I can almost see what looks like the corner of a mouth, stretched all the way across the jaw. Just like I saw in the diner bathroom 5 days ago. I don't know, it feels so long. But it's then that I realize the presence I feel is coming from this thing in the mirror. We stare at each other for a long time, the fear rising and rising until it's almost overwhelming. But my feet won't move, my mind won't reason with what's happening. I'm in a nightmare. This is real. The mirror whispers at me, and I see the grotesque mouth move with the raspy whispering words. Slowly, I move a little closer to the mirror, ducking my head down a bit, reaching up to touch my cheek, where I see the wide gash of a mouth. The reflection does the same, but when I touch my face, I only feel smooth fur, even as the fingers in the mirror brush against the opening. What's happening? I ask myself, but my reflection responds. What's been happening for eons? What was supposed to happen to everyone else in this town, but you stopped it. What? Yeah, exactly. Coming back here with your secret almost started it, but now that everyone's about to find out, What? Okay. Well, I don't know how I would know that, but alright then. What are you talking about? This town might actually survive if they find out. Find out what? I bring both paws up to press against the sides of my face, as if to cover up the gaping mouth. You know what? I squint at the reflection, trying to figure out why it looks so familiar. Sydney? There's a raspy, rustling sound, and I see the thing in the mirror shake. It is head twitching from side to side, far too fast to be anything of this world. I take a step back. Dread rises in my chest. No, this was supposed to be over. I'm not supposed to see things anymore. You always knew they were wrong. Always knew that what you saw was real. Nothing normal about this. But it's not me seeing things again that's got me feeling the way I do. No. What secret are you talking about? Again, that raspy sound of rustling leaves, sounding old and forgotten. That's what it feels like I'm talking to. Something old, monolithic, and ancient. You don't need me to tell you. I grasp my shirt, twisting the fabric in my paws, feeling like I might panic, that I might go insane. Already insane. But how is anyone gonna find out? No one knows. You know that's not true. It was responsible for the cruel joke. I swallow hard. Someone knows. No, that was something else. They didn't know. It was a stupid prank on me to make me look bad, to ruin our vacation. Vacation? Is that what I'm on right now? That thought is foolish, and you know it. It was definitely foolish. And you know who it was, and after what you did to him. Okay, so yeah, he's probably just been subconsciously thinking about it. Or unconsciously, I guess. I don't know, I feel like subconscious is the better word for that, but officially it's unconscious. I see myself pinning the lizard in the parking lot, holding back from pounding his face into nothing. Or, okay, sure. He's going to tell everyone. I still don't think it's Flynn. No. I hear myself whine, feeling like a child, like the small creature in the mirror. Yes, unless... I wait, feeling tears well up in my eyes, knowing that my life is about to change forever. The silence drags on and on until I finally break it. What? I can help you keep the secret. I wait a while longer, but the reflection stays quiet. Didn't you just say it would, like, save the town of Echo or something? I get the sense that time is going faster than I perceive it, my legs aching from standing here rigidly on the cold tile floor. Help me? I can tell you what you can do to keep things the way they are. I feel a small ray of hope pierce through the towering cloud of impending doom in my chest. How? There's a dark pause, a moment that marks an in-between, between what was and what's about to become. I know things can't truly stay the way they are. They never do. Another split in my life, just like what happened years ago. Finally, the thing speaks, and I hear exactly what I expect. Do the same to the lizard. So did I like will Sydney to die or something? Or think that I caused Sydney's death because I was hoping for it or something? And am I planning the same for Flynn now again? Or did I actually kill Sydney and I'm about to kill Flynn now as well? I swallow, feeling myself rejecting the idea. Unless you want them all to know your secret. But how do I know it was him? He sounded like he had no idea what we were doing. He is deceptive, a liar. His entire family has always been. But I can't if I don't know for sure. Show him the note. You'll see his reaction, the truth. My paw drifts to my pocket, feeling the gentle outline of the folded paper. Who are you? The rustling leaves again, and I realize that while this might be Sydney, it's something more than Sydney. Okay, now I'm confused. What is the thing that I did back then? When was back then? What? It doesn't answer me. We stand there for a long time again. Minutes, hours, I don't know. Why would you help me? This time the answer is immediate. This town needs secrets. Why? Again, no answer, and I stand there for what feels like hours. As I continue to stare at the small, disfigured creature, I get the feeling that it's starting to move independent from me. That thought scares me, and I lift my paws. I am relieved to see the reflection do the same, but as soon as I touch my face, I feel the corner of my mouth stretched up to my ears. In a sudden burst of panic, I lunge for the light switch and flip it on. I'm stunned as I'm bathed by the blinding yellow light, and I have to shut my eyes for a moment before opening them. I see myself in the mirror as I've always been, staring back blearily. My eyes are bloodshot, and my figure seems to sag with exhaustion. I stand there for a while, feeling my mind cloud up even more as I go over what just happened. Also, that kind of makes me think that maybe it was really easy for me to tell Julian about what happened at the lake, because I wasn't actually telling the truth, and I was just not mentioning something that actually happened. Then a violent shiver comes over my body, like I'm suffering a high fever. I feel sick. My skin is sensitive, and my joints are sore, and after a moment, I move back into the motel room. I can see that it's light outside, through the curtains. How long was I in there? It must have been hours. I don't care, though. Still shivering, I head for the closest bed, sliding under the covers of my clothes and laying my head against the pillow. I realize then that this is Jenna's bed, and I can smell her perfume, along with the faint scent of fox musk on the pillow. Where was she again? Peyton, right? I can't even remember through the haze in my head. I think I fall asleep, but I'm not sure. A sudden knock at the door makes me jump. I curl up tighter under the covers, hoping that I just dreamed it, or that whatever is outside just goes away. It's probably the, hotel staff. Then the knock again, followed by Leo's voice. Okay. Otter, you in there? I cringe, squeezing my eyes shut, having completely forgotten about him. Yeah, I can tell. Why had he chosen to show up now? I lay still for a moment, then he yells again, which makes me jump out of the bed, cringing at the pain in my joints. Groggily, I stumble to the door, leaning against it for a moment as I feel lightheaded, trying to gather myself. Finally, I fix my face into a tired smile before opening the door. Leo stands there, his eyes perked, eyes wide as if he hadn't expected me to open the door. Oh, hey, Chase, are you alright? He reaches out to rest a paw on my shoulder, looking me over. Yeah, was up all night doing my project. Sure. I left it until the last minute. I give him a sheepish grin. Leo clicks his tongue at me. Isn't that due tomorrow? And aren't you driving home all day today? I shrug. I'll be fine. If you say so, Otter. He continues to stare at me with a look of concern. What's up? Well, I guess I'm just sorry that I haven't been around more this week. I guess I was just being a bit unfair to you. I rack my brain for a reason why Leo's apologizing to me, or how exactly he'd been unfair to me. Yeah, I wonder. I guess I've just been a bit down because you weren't talking to me as much as I thought you would. Oh. Had Leo been avoiding me all week? I hadn't even noticed. Oh, well, it's alright. I was wondering why you hadn't texted me. I'd been missing you. Oh. Sure you had. Definitely wasn't going after someone else. Leo's ears flatten, and I see a look of shame across his face. You could have texted me too, you know? I didn't want to bother you. I could tell you weren't all that happy. Leo lets out a big sigh, letting his shoulders droop. I'm sorry, Chase. I guess I just felt kinda shitty after what Flynn did, then you just kinda went quiet. I scratched the back of my head. Yeah, I can't deny that you kinda ruined the vibe of the whole trip. But I really should have called you afterwards. I'm sorry too. My dad did call me into work every day, so I guess it would have been hard to work things out anyway. That sounds familiar. You still making you work weekends too? Usually, yeah. Leo looks past my shoulder into the motel room. Anyway, when I texted Jenna, it sounded like something was wrong. I guess she's already back in Pueblo? I shrug. Yeah, I think the tension got to her in the end, and she took off early. She was complaining about Flynn the entire time she was here. Leo lets out another big sigh. Great. He's been acting strange too. Oh yeah? I silently hope that the wolf isn't going to ask to be let in. I guess the game is trying to lull me into a false sense of security with Leo now, but I'm pretty sure he's the one who actually set the scavenger hunt up. Yeah, driving around, acting all shady. That's actually what made me want to visit you, see if everything was okay. Carl isn't even responding to me. I'm good, just tired and stressed out. Is TJ here? He's actually hanging out with an old friend in Peyton right now. Once he comes back, we're gonna start driving back. I was actually in the middle of a nap. No, sorry. You wanted to get back to that then? I smile guiltily. Yeah, that would probably be for the best. Don't want to nod off on the road, you know? Of course. Leo looks at me hesitantly. Listen, I know this was probably going to be our last time getting together before we all split off, but... You want to try this again in the future? Maybe over the summer when you don't have school to worry about? I just feel like we left a lot unsaid. Doesn't have to be everyone, and maybe this time I'll just tell Flynn not to come around. I smile back at Leo. Yeah, that sounds good. I think that'd be a great time. Leo smiles back, looking genuinely relieved and happy. Ah, that's so good to hear. And I'll be sure Dad knows that I want the week off. Good luck with that. And I'll let TJ and Jenna know. Thanks, Chase. Leo stands there for a moment, then steps forward to give me a hug. I hug back tightly before letting him go. I stand at the doorway until Leo's van pulls out of the parking lot, heading in the direction of the highway, probably on his way to work. Once he's gone, I deflate, feeling as if that one conversation had been equal to hours of hard labor. Still, watching him go, I get a sense of sadness, like that was the last time we'd see each other the way we are now. Well, if you decide to do something drastic, then maybe. I stumble back to the bed, almost falling, before I catch myself on the edge with both paws. I stare at the square patterns on the comforter, feeling a little sick. For a moment, I hear whispers coming from the dark bathroom, but I don't even look up to see if I can see that figure in the mirror. I wish I'd closed the door, but I'm not going near that place again. So I just curl back up on the bed, facing away from the bathroom, closing my eyes. Okay, this is going on way longer than I thought it would. I'd gotten bored of skipping rocks pretty quickly. Leo was so good at it, he could skip them over the water 5 times before they sunk. Even Jenna could do at least 3. Mine would splat once and sink like the stones they were. After Leo laughed at my last one, I glared and decided to go farther than the beach, where no one else could go. Hey, not in the way of the rocks! You're going to get hit! Leo telling me to be careful only made me more angry, and I cut through the water, far below the surface so they couldn't see me. I go back in the direction where we came from, wondering if Sydney and Toby are in the shallows, that I might be able to surprise them. When I come around the curve in the beach, I see that they are in fact in the shallows. But I can tell immediately that something isn't right. Toby's flat on his stomach in the water. Sydney is sitting on his back. Toby has just enough room that his head barely sticks out of the water. As I poke my head up, I can hear the cat sobbing. Sydney isn't saying much at all. He's got a strange look on his face. It's a look that I've seen before, like that time he'd covered Toby's mouth and nose when he'd had him pinned down and we'd had to pull him apart. That same look when he'd thrown a dirt cloud with a rock in it at the Lynx's head. A look that was determined, almost empty, but completely fascinated with what he was doing. Almost like he liked it. Something about this situation scared me, though. The other times, we'd been there to help separate them, or stop Sydney from going too far. But now it looked like he was trying to kill the cat. Every now and then, a wave would slosh over Toby's mouth and nose, and he'd yell and struggle frantically, begging Sydney to get off. But Sydney just sat there, enamored with his own cruelty. He was going to kill Toby, just like he killed his dad. My vision blurs as I go under and speed toward them. I leap out of the water to knock Sydney off the Lynx as hard as I can. Sydney falls back in the water before quickly pushing himself back up. I see the look of horror on his face, not at what I'm about to do to him, but because he got caught doing something bad. Not just bad, but weird and scary, and something that no one should ever do, not even if you're a kid. I don't think he could ever explain why he liked doing it. That look imprints itself in my mind. TJ runs off. I don't know where to. I try to get Sydney to tell me what he was doing for a while. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I get angry. I throw a punch. It misses and hits him in the throat instead. He lets out a hard cough, reaching up with both paws to clutch at his neck. He manages to stumble to his feet without using his paws, his Luce Lobo swim trunks wetly clinging to his legs. I don't give him a chance to stand for long. I tackle him again and grab his head, shoving it underwater. He scrambles frantically. I feel a dark satisfaction in my chest at the way I can hear his screams through the bubbling of his exhaling breath. I finally let him go after a good 10 seconds, and he comes up, gagging and choking. He starts to scramble away on his paws and knees before getting up. I see snot hanging from his nose and chin as he stumbles, snorting out water, and I can tell he's about to cry. You tried to kill me! I'm telling Leo! You tried to murder me! So that was it. For some reason, the way he immediately tried to put that on me, it was then that I believed he was trying to kill TJ. Maybe not even on purpose, maybe just waiting for it to accidentally happen. I don't know. But now he was going to make everyone think I'm a murderer. Even though we all know he did it. He stumbles away and I go after him, grabbing him. He's trying to kill me! His voice is weak, and so is his body. Especially in the water. I poke my head up through the waves in front of the others. Otter, move! We're going to hit your head! I shrug my shoulders, dipping under the water again, so that I can hug myself and tremble alone. Okay. Again, time passes in a way that I'm not familiar with. This is going on for so long now. I don't know if I should keep going. We're definitely on a separate day by this point anyway, it's just not saying it. Yeah, I guess I'll save here, please. I mean, I guess when I come back next week, if it's short enough, I can stitch the end of it into this part. Like, especially if the other endings here are short enough, or that the differences, the different choices are short enough. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit weird about this, to say the least. This episode made me really dislike Chase. That I can say. Cause, like, it's not like he's done anything unreasonable, but, like, I mean, unreasonable as in, I don't think he should have done that stuff, but, like, not unreasonable as in, I don't understand why he did it. He had his reasons, but, I don't think they were the smartest choices. And yeah, I still think Leo set up the scavenger hunt. I don't know. If that's the end of this episode, then I'll see you next time. But if it's still going on, then the next recording session. God, why is this intro music so good? The main menu music. Music. Alright, I'm back. So today we're hopefully gonna beat TJ's route and get all the endings of it. If there are more than one. And sadly I don't have cookies this time, but I do have notes for this intro again. So Chase seems to be the horror movie villain at this point. Basically, antagonizing and fighting Flynn, making a weird advance on TJ, and then getting unreasonably angry when he doesn't reciprocate. Both Flynn and TJ are described as having fear in their eyes. It seems like the moment in the diner bathroom's mirror was foreshadowing this, implying that Chase was turning into a monster, culminating in the moment in the motel bathroom's mirror that Chase felt he had been waiting for. Yeah. So it seems like, at least for this route, Chase is basically the villain. Also, Chase has kind of turned everyone against him, except the guy who probably tried to reveal some huge secret of his. So things are looking great for him, too. But, let's see exactly how great everything goes right now. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours pass when my phone starts to ring. There's something ominous about it, something I can't explain, but I feel it deep in my bones, like the aches in my joints. I open my eyes and see my phone just a foot in front of my face, vibrating over and over. I see the blank contact image on the screen with the name Julian under it. For a moment, I wonder why I have his number, why I have his name attached to it. Then I remember it's because we'd exchanged numbers during the scavenger hunt, so that I could call him to meet up. Slowly, I reach out and press the green button to answer. I raise it to my ear, waiting, but only getting silence on the other end. Hello? Hey, Chase? Julian's voice sounds hesitant, like he's not really sure about what he's doing, like he doesn't know me. Well, yeah, I think he probably thinks that he doesn't know me at this point. If TJ's told him what happened with everything. Yeah? Hey, so something happened that I thought you, or at least someone should know about. I slowly sit up, the blanket falling away from my shoulders. What's up? Well, TJ spent the night over at my place after what you did. Julian's voice takes on a hard edge, and for a moment I'm not sure what he's talking about. Oh right, because you're a bit too preoccupied, I guess, with the other stuff that happened since. Then I remember the forest and what happened there. For some reason, the thought doesn't create that horrible empty guilt I'd felt yesterday. In fact, I feel nothing. Anyway, we got him a bus ticket back to CCU, and we were hanging out until the departure time, which was an hour ago now. Yeah? Well, that lizard guy showed up. Flynn. He showed up at my house. I don't know how he knew where I lived, but I think Janice told him. My heart skips a beat. Anyway, he wanted to talk to TJ, and eventually TJ told me that I could just wait inside. So I did, and after a while when I looked, they were gone. Gone? Yeah, and so was his truck. I'm pretty sure TJ went with him, but I don't know. They were both acting really strange, so I don't really feel good about it. TJ won't respond to my texts either. I see. So, since your number is the only one I have from your friend group, I thought I should tell you so you can let the others know too. Alright, I'll do that. Alright. There's a pause, but I'm already getting up, looking for my keys. I'll probably check things out myself before my shift today. You know where Flynn lives? I can tell that the Buck doesn't really trust me with this information, and why would he? I don't care, though. Yeah, he's on Shepherd Street. Janice will be able to point out where it is for you, but I'm heading over now. Let me know if you find anything out. I will, later. Bye. I feel my heart rate picking up speed as I finally find my keys under my backpack on the table. I snapped them up. Okay, I'm talking too fast again, but this time I think it's actually because I'm nervous about what's gonna happen. I snatched them up and jog out of the motel, the heat of the afternoon sun coming over me in a wave. I realized then how late it is. I'd been in the motel for nearly a full day, but to me it had felt like only a few hours, if that. I should be on the highway right now, if not already back in Pueblo. But I realize that none of that matters now. As I sit down in the oven-like heat of my car, I see it staring back at me from the back seat. It? I'm not afraid of it, at least not right now. Okay. It means that I'm on the right track, I think. Are you sure? I'm doing what I was meant to do. I know where Flynn and TJ are. He probably thinks that's the best place to get the truth out of TJ. His truck sits there in the small parking lot alone, gleaming in the setting sun. I pull up right next to it and look inside. Empty. I park and shut off the engine, jumping out and jogging toward the faint trail through the sagebrush. I know exactly where to go. Instead of turning right like we did yesterday to get to the boulder, I take a left. I haven't been on this part of the beach in over a decade, not since it happened. I know this is the right direction, though, and soon enough I see the bend on the beach that turns into the shallows that we'd played in so many times. I also see an odd set of tracks leading in that direction. Flynn's footprints, not hard to recognize with their long, clawed toes. But there's another pattern next to them. TJ's, I'm guessing. Oh, they aren't footprints, but drag marks, like Flynn had been dragging something next to him. Yeah, so TJ. I pick up the pace and start to run, breath catching in my throat, that feeling of not being able to turn back looming over me like a dark fog. The water and sand around me is starting to tinge a soft red with the setting sun. For a moment I wonder what would happen if I stop. What if I turn back instead of turning this corner? I know that my life will turn out very, very differently if I do. The thing in the mirror, the town, it told me so. But I feel like I'm on a set of train tracks cutting through the desert with no alternative path to speak of. And I've been on this track ever since I decided that I need to protect TJ. As I turn the corner, I see them immediately. TJ is sitting on the beach, his knees drawn up to his chest as he stares downward. Flynn is standing over TJ, his paws on his hips, looking down at the cat. It looks like he'd been thrown there by the lizard, and I finally feel rage replace the anticipation and fear. It's finally going to happen, and now I want it to. Don't kill Flynn, please. Hey! Flynn immediately whirls around, eyes wide as he spots me sprinting toward him. He takes a step back as I get closer, but I skid to a stop 10 feet away, glaring at him as my paws clench into fists. What the hell are you doing? I scream at him, wanting to let him know just how pissed I am. It feels good, finally not being afraid or worried about what's going to happen. Because now I know there's no other option. Flynn looks taken aback for a moment, looking at me up and down before he straightens up. He hasn't forgotten what happened between us yesterday, and I can tell that he's afraid of me. Only yesterday? What? Get the fuck out of here, Chase. This isn't about you. You fucking bet it is! I look at TJ, and he's gone back to staring at the ground, expression vacant. What are you doing to him? I'm not doing anything to him, except asking him some questions. About? You know exactly what about.
He's trying to confirm your secret.
Get away from him. I say each word with deliberation, taking a few steps closer to the lizard. Flynn steps back again, but only with one foot, and he doesn't back way further. If my voice is starting to sound phlegmy or whatever, it's because it's been hurting lately. It started after the last recording session, probably because I had my shirt off and the windows open, while it also started getting colder. Not entirely because of that, because I got sick like the same day, I think, but I think that exacerbated it. Anyway, that was a few weeks ago, and I'm still sick. Not as sick, though. I just, like, I couldn't even record after that. But now I think I can. Maybe. Hopefully. You stay the fuck away from me, Chase. And what the hell have you been doing this whole week? Flynn seems to grow a little more confident with that. What do you mean? I stop and cross my arms, waiting. What I asked yesterday! And after what happened to Carl, I think I'm owed a fucking explanation. I feel the anger rise up even more in my chest. You want an explanation after the shit you've been pulling? Flynn once again looks taken aback by my anger. The hell are you talking about? My palm was in my pocket. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That fucked up scavenger hunt that you sent us on, that you started with Carl. Flynn gapes at me. What? I feel some of my resolution dissolve as the lizard's face looks completely bewildered.
He's lying.
I don't think he is! I think this voice in my head is just a voice in my head. And I think it's just, you know, me. I don't think it knows anything more than I do. Anger swells once again. Quit fucking lying to me! I know what you did, and I know what you think happened. Flynn steps forward. Chase, get the fuck out of here! This isn't about you. TJ's telling me what happened. I look down at TJ, again at that vacant stare. What did he tell you? Leave! This isn't about you! Flynn walks up to me, giving me a hard shove in the chest. I stumble back. Really? I feel my paw reaching into my pocket, as if of its own accord. I grasp the note, and even though my nerves fail me as I'm pulling it out...
It seems to happen on its own.
Then what the hell is this? I unfold the note, ripping the old paper in the process. But it's intact enough when I present it in front of the lizard's face. So does it, like, actually have whatever secret it was on it? Because now I'm just showing Flynn, who probably didn't know about it. Flynn's brow furrows in confusion for a moment, before he takes it roughly from my paws. He stares at it, eyes scanning the page, as if looking at it from all angles. Finally, his eyes flick up to look at me.
What the fuck is this?
He whispers hoarsely. I look straight back at him, waiting for the expression of familiarity, the guilt, the knowledge that that piece of paper is his own doing. But instead of what the mirror promised, I get shock and confusion instead. Just like that, I feel my determination break down. It was as if something had been driving me to this moment, and that cloud covering my brain breaks for a moment. For a moment, things are clear, and I'm left in a daze. I don't... What is this?! His voice turns up into a scream, and it's such a horrible sound that I stumble back. He holds the paper up, showing me, and I stare as if I've never seen it before. Unlike the other notes, this one is a crude drawing. On the far left of the page, a small stick figure with lynx ears is kneeling on a beach, surrounded by clams and starfish. Okay, well, the way that it's drawn with the stick figure and the lynx ears... It sounds like the way that TJ drew earlier. He's covering his face, tears falling to the sand below. Extending out from the beach, poorly drawn waves spread across the top of the page to represent the lake. Far below the waves, two figures are connected near the bottom of the page. One has axes for eyes, his legs and arms splayed out, tiny little bubbles coming up from the mouth. Below that figure, another sits below him, grinning mischievously, holding the drowning stick figure down by his tail. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess that we have been hinting towards this. And yeah, I guess I was about to do that to Flynn. Why do I keep saying I? I don't want to do these things. Jeez. As if the picture wasn't descriptive enough, words and arrows label the characters. Toby sitting on the beach, Sydney dead in the water, and Chase holding him down. I looked at the drawing so many times before, but now to have Flynn be the one to show it to me. But he had to have been the one to draw this. Who else could have done it? Why would he have drawn that? What's wrong with you? Man, whatever thing is causing people to go insane here, apparently he's also making Chase go stupid. Like, Flynn's been suspecting TJ this whole time. You think he drew this? But here he was, standing there in a state of shock just like me. But I could see his expression very quickly morphing into fury. All my plans to confront him, to figure out how he found out, are thrown out the window, because he just found out. Well, to be fair, he only saw a weird drawing. I'm completely unprepared, and conveniently, the presence that spurred me on has left as well. And it's only now that I realize how stupid this all was. I hope so! I hope you friggin' realize, idiot. It's like I've been tricked. I don't even think they were trying to trick you. But wait, if Leo did that, then he knows I killed it. What? I mean, maybe I, like, told him at some point, or he, I don't know. Chase. Flynn's walking toward me, and his expression is like nothing I've seen before. Chase. I can see in his eyes what he's about to do. I back away, stumbling, and that's when he rushes, tackling me to the ground and crushing me into the hard, sharp rocks underneath. Unlike yesterday, all of my strength and confidence has abandoned me. It's like whatever has been driving me has left me right at this moment, taking several steps back to watch. Yeah, because you just realized you were a frickin' idiot! Like it wanted this to happen all along. Flynn's fists find my face, first one on the right side, then another on the left. Each one brings a flash of light to my vision, and at that moment, all sense leaves me. It's kind of nice in a way, like I don't have to be present for the horror that I brought on myself. A few more punches come my way, the impacts like earthquakes in my head, but I don't feel any pain. Instead, they leave me feeling stunned, like I'd been electrocuted. I can feel blood pouring from my nose like a faucet though, and soon it fills my mouth with that familiar metallic taste. You fucking piece of shit! You think you could just play with me like this? His strong, big hands find my neck and start to squeeze. What? Play with you? I guess he thinks I'm lying about the drawing? And that I drew it? For some reason. Through blurred vision, I can see him above me, eyes filled with tears, glaring down at me with a rage that I didn't think was possible. You little shit! You won't fucking get away with this shit this time! I hear the rustling leaves again, my reflection, Sydney, the town, whatever it is, laughing at me. Vaguely, I wonder if Flynn had been spurred on by it too. We're puppets. Nothing seems real right now. What's happening to me, to Flynn? What's happening between us? It seems impossible. But the breath that's stuck in my throat is very real, and I start to see stars and blackness begin to cloud my vision. After the things I've done, I guess I deserve it. I guess this is the appropriate way to go out. Flynn. A soft voice coming from the distance. It was me. I did it. No. Don't. TJ. Hands come away from my throat, and I take in one massive breath, like I'm coming up from the water after being under for far too long. Spit and blood go down my throat and into my lungs, and I roll over, letting out a great cough, spraying a rock in front of my face with dark drops of blood. What? I watch blood drip to the rock in a steady rhythm from my nose, having to breath extra hard through my mouth because of it. I said I did it. It was an accident. I pushed him out in the water, and he drowned. I grabbed the rock, stumbling to my feet, feeling that old anger return.
He's going to kill Toby. Stop him.
I stumble unsteadily to my feet, and turn to see the lizard with his back to me, approaching TJ.
He will never leave Toby alone, just like Sydney.
I stumble after them, hand tightening around the rock, the back of Flynn's head in my sights. What did you say?
But you can stop it for good. Break the circle.
I'm a few steps away from Flynn when I swing, bringing it down on his head as hard as I can. The sound is awful. Immediately, Flynn bends over, screaming in pain as his paws come up to clutch the back of his head. I swing again, this time glancing off the top of his head, most of my power robbed by the poor angle. Flynn turns to me then, still crouched low, and tries to tackle me. I stay on my feet for the most part, but I'm pushed back several feet as I grab onto his back for support. I feel the cold water on my feet, and that's when I grab the lizard under his armpits and start to pull us both out further. Chase! Come on, dude! Flynn doesn't seem to realize what's happening until the water's up to our knees. He stands up straight, and I see the blood running down his face from his head. He's glaring at me, expression wild, gaze clouded just like mine, and he takes a swing at me. It lands on my jaw. Though my head is snapped to the side, and another flash fills my vision, I'm able to grab that paw and swing him out further into the lake. The lizard stumbles in the shallows, standing up waist deep, and that's when I throw myself at him with everything I've got. I tackle him into the water, and we're both submerged. I feel a change in Flynn's demeanor. The change as he realizes that he's gone from fighting for the truth to a fight for his life. Claws come out and scratch at my arms, but I ignore it, the cold of the water numbing any pain that I might have felt. I kick us further out into the lake, my powerful tail and body coming into play, doing what I was built to do. I hate you, Chase! I know I knocked the breath out of Flynn when I barreled into him, so he doesn't have much time before he needs another breath. I'm not gonna give it to him. I thrust us both through the water, downward against the rocks and sand below us. He grasps at me, kicking with his feet, and I catch a glimpse of his face then. It's not angry anymore, or clouded. Instead, he stares at me with shock and utter disbelief. I'm killing him, and he realizes it. Yay, peaceful music! He also realizes the truth then. I see it in his eyes. What he's wanted to know for the past decade, he realizes in the last minutes of his life. He kicks at me with his feet, his movements becoming even more desperate. His paws move to my neck, trying to choke me again, but it's useless. I already have my breath. I watch bubbles spurt from his muzzle, then all at once in a gush. His paws go from strangling to pleading. He grabs me by the shoulders, shaking, tugging, looking into my eyes. But I'm relentless, that feeling of not being able to turn back too strong. Oh my god. You know, I don't think this is what TJ would want, Chase. His muzzle opens, trying to breathe, but only taking in water. His thrashing turns up a notch, scratching my legs with his claws as he kicks even harder. This second burst of desperation only lasts a few seconds, though. His movements growing more and more tired, weaker and weaker. He's not looking at me anymore, eyes staring past me, toward the glimmering surface above. A place I'll never let him see again. His movements become more sporadic, like he's having convulsions. My instincts tell me to let him go, to end this insanity, but my paws don't let me. I close my eyes and press harder. Why are you doing this, dude? After a few more minutes, I don't feel any more movements. Slowly, I let him go, careful not to look at his face. His body stays still for the most part, moving back and forth gently with the current. I kick to the surface, my limbs numb as I break through to the cold air above. I pull myself along through the rocks, gasping and feeling incredibly weak for some reason. I wonder why. My stomach lurches, and for a moment, I feel as if I'm going to throw up. I stay there on my hands and knees, staring into the water at my reflection. My face looks blank, and for a moment, I see the horrible, gashed mouth. Yeah, I get that now. I understand. Now I'm wondering if there are any other endings, because, like, it seems like it was all leading up to this. Like, since the whole thing in the diner bathroom. I mean, there are choices before that, so maybe something could change that? I don't know. I know I'm crying, even if the lake water is covering it up. What happened? But as I look up, and as I see TJ there, everything comes together. He's on his knees, staring past me, mouth hanging open. Suddenly, I remember exactly why it is this all happened, and my chest fills with warmth and love for the cat as I stumble toward him on my knees. You dummy! You idiot! TJ doesn't seem to notice me as I wrap my arms around him, pressing his face to my chest. I've got you. We're okay. He's not gonna hurt you anymore. You know, I think there would have been an easier way to do that. I breathe heavily into the lynx's ear as I whisper to him, wanting to let him know that everything's going to be okay. Finally, I feel him shake his head against my body. Chase. Why? Because he knew. And he was never going to leave us alone. He tried to kill us. He was never going to leave you alone, dummy! I kiss the top of the cat's head gently, wanting him to know how much I care. This still seems one-sided, dude. See? He's gone. TJ sobs against me, but I only hug him tighter. Why did you do that? He reaches out to my left, and I look, seeing the paper and the lake. Oh, I'm not sure which he's talking about. Me showing Flynn the paper, or killing him. Or killing Sydney. I don't know, so I don't answer. Instead, I hug him even tighter, whispering in his ear. It'll be just like last time. We won't tell anyone our secret. Something turns ominous in the air. That horrible tension I'd felt dissipate when we opened the letters returns.
This town needs secrets.
I'll tell him he tried to kill us. We had to protect ourselves. TJ leans tiredly against me, his arms limp. We're gonna be okay, just like last time. We can forget. TJ doesn't respond, so I look out at the lake and get a shock as I see Flynn floating there, close to the shore. He's face down, back just barely touching the surface. For a moment, I wonder if it's not too late, if there's still enough life in him to be revived. I wish! But that same feeling holds me back, and I cling to TJ instead. We're gonna be okay.
You were manipulated. We keep moving in circles.
Yeah, I don't think anything good is gonna come of this. If anything, it seems like I'm just gonna... No, if anything, it seems like Chase is just gonna become a serial killer. That voice comes to the surface for a moment, for the first time sounding stunned. I return to focusing on the lynx, the whole reason why I did any of this in the first place. Whatever happens, I'm going to protect him from all the shitty people in the world that want to hurt him. Maybe don't do that by killing them, though. I don't recommend it. By the time we get to our feet, it's dark, and I have to help the lynx along through the sagebrush. He's quiet, robotic, like he was the first time this happened. I help him into my car, and I get into the driver's seat, quietly pulling out of the parking lot and leaving Flynn's empty truck behind. I watch it disappear in the rearview mirror, sitting alone under the yellow parking lot light. As we drive along the road, the lynx stares out the window. I can still feel the tension in my arms and legs, making it difficult to keep the wheel steady. My heavy, wet clothes stick to the seat. Finally, we get to the freeway, and I look back again. Echo just a series of tiny lights, insignificant on the desert landscape. It seems absurd that that place was where all of that horror happened, where all of that horror still is. Chase? I snap out of my daydream, looking over at the lynx, his eyes glowing gently in the fading light. Was that just the end of the music? Like, is that actually where the song ends, or did I just get to a point where this song's not playing in the game? I don't... After we're done with wherever we're going... The police station? Yeah. Can you give me a ride back to CCU? I miss my bus. TJ smiles sheepishly. I blink, wondering what to say. Does he not realize? Then I realize what he's doing. It's happening. Just like last time. I clear my throat. Oh yeah, definitely. I'll give you a ride for sure. Thanks, Chase. TJ smiles at me, then goes back to looking out the window. I wonder if he'll forget what happened. Like what happened with Sydney. I don't like this. I don't like that I'm a murderer. Stop saying I, please. I don't like that Chase is a murderer and TJ is someone complicit. Just like knowing what happened and not saying anything to anyone. But I mean, I guess that does match his personality with him just being like way too nice. And considering I was, I guess, doing it to try to protect him. Why did I say I again? I mean, it's because we were playing a chase, but, stop it, Brain. Just say chase, not I. I hope that I can. We drive off into the dark desert, toward the soft glow of Peyton in the distance. Okay. 5 years later. Okay. Oh, wait, is this from Arches? I think there was a... Was there... I don't know. I don't know if I've seen the names, but... Seriously, this is gonna be such a good fucking time. You'll be glad you came. The big grizzly bear nudges the coyote playfully, almost knocking the canine into the passenger window. Yeah, there was a big grizzly bear in Arches. I remember that. And probably a coyote? Ow! Keep your paws on the wheel. Or your paw, at least. This road ain't in great shape. Cameron eyes the giant half-eaten burger in the bear's equally giant paw. Dev's other paw casually steers the wheel. Dev Lemons? Wait, his name was Devin, right? Oh my god! Dev Lemons for soda? Dev's other paw casually steers the wheel, elbow resting out through the open window. The bear looks happier than he's been in a while, somehow grinning as he chews. The coyote sighs and stares out his own window, watching the desert landscape fly by. There was nothing like this in his hometown, and he found himself wishing he was back amongst the pine forests. Something he'd been wishing since he moved to Pueblo for school. Technically, this was his natural habitat, but he found the whole place depressing somehow. Yeah, as if maybe 2 people had died there. Well, a lot more than 2 people, but like 2 people had been killed. Empty and dry and rough. What you pouting for? I'm not pouting. Yeah, you are. Cameron sighs, deciding to change the subject. So, why couldn't Larry go again? I don't know, said something about his car breaking down. I think he just flaked, though. Aren't there other haunted places in Pueblo that we could have gone to, like by the school? The bear shakes his head, letting go of the wheel to crumple up the foil that had packaged his sandwich, tossing it into the back. Not like Echo, dude. This place is the most haunted town in the entire fucking world. Cameron sighs once again, then suddenly grasps his seat, as the car swerves and turns hard onto a smaller road, heading toward a big blue lake. What the fuck? Whoops, sorry, almost missed a turn. Gotta hit Lake Emma before the actual town. The road quickly ends in a small parking lot, empty and cracked. Why? Because a lot of shit happened here. The grizzly hops out of the car, making the entire thing tilt sideways as he squeezes his bulk out, before reaching back in for the camera bag. The coyote allows himself one last frustrated sigh before he gets out as well. Yep, I recognize those faces from the Arches image that I've seen. The bear waits for him, reaching out a large, padded paw. Cameron takes it, and is immediately drawn into a tight embrace and a kiss. The coyote tenses up for a moment, then waits until Devin releases him. Okay, I get in terms of atmosphere, like, this is would be a good time for a kiss, but, like, considering all the stuff that happened here that you know about and we're just talking about, it feels weird. Can you not do that right after you eat a big, greasy hamburger? Cameron makes a show of wiping his lips. Devin rolls his eyes. No pleasing you, is there? Nevertheless, the grizzly holds out his paw again, and Cameron takes it, the 2 of them walking toward the faint trail. It's not a pleasant walk, the trail almost obscured by sagebrush and dry vegetation. Once they reach the edge of the lake, Devin has to help the coyote down the rough, rocky terrain. The coyote feels like a child as Devin lifts him down off the boulders and onto the beach, the bear's tree trunk biceps bulging as he does. They stand there a moment, taking in the scenery. Then Devin leans over to set the camera back down. Cameron stands there, looking around at the very unphotogenic lake. So I guess they're filming something too. Cool. So, what exactly happened here that you're so interested in? Devin takes off his backwards baseball cap for a moment, to smooth his head for a noun. He puts it back on and bends over again to take out the camera. Some people say the lake is haunted too. Some guy got killed here in 2015 according to a few articles I read. Yeah, wonderful. That was self-defense though. Yeah, sure. Sure, Chase. Was that during the whole hysteria thing or whatever? No. I mean, kinda, but it wasn't the whole hysteria thing, but it was another whole hysteria thing. Devin pans the camera across the length of the lake, before stopping on Cameron. The coyote frowns at being filmed. No, that was in 2017. Oh, okay. The bear pans the camera the other way now, and Cameron feels himself getting sweaty under his shirt already. Some coyote he was. So hot here. Once we set ourselves up in the motel, we'll have some shade. Oh, no, that's Devin. It's hard to tell. They're both great nameplate things. Once we set ourselves up in the motel, we'll have some shade. Still open? Nothing's open. Everything's abandoned now. Oh. Oh, right. Because I didn't want Echo to survive. So, all that stuff happened because of that. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Well, I still don't know how I knew that, but... And I still don't know why I'm referring to myself as Chase. We're not even playing as him anymore. Or referring to Chase as myself, actually. We're gonna get arrested for trespassing. The bear finally turns off the camera, leaning over to shove it in his back. Psh, the cops never come down here. It's too out of the way. Anything for the views, right? Oh, we're just doing this for the views on YouTube. Like me! Except, well, I'm not doing it for the views. If I was, I would have quit this channel like years ago. Hey, my subscribers are gonna love this shit. No, come on, let's get back to the car. The bear turns and starts scrambling up the rocky boulders, Cameron waiting as he does. That's when the coyote turns around to glance back at the lake one last time, and... a lizard lays in the shallows, splayed out, staring at the sky. But he's not staring because his eyes are gone. Half of his... Wait, no. I meant that as he's not staring because his eyes are gone. Like, as in his eyes being gone isn't the reason that he's staring. But no, but he's not staring because his eyes are gone. Half of his muzzle missing. Fuck! Cameron jumps back, tripping over the rocks and landing against the sharp edges. The coyote hisses in pain, but fears person on, trying to scramble up the rocks after Devin. The bear's already turned around, though, reaching down to pull Cameron up. Shit! You alright? What happened? As Cameron clings to the large bear, he looks back, but nothing's there. I don't know, I saw... Devin looks in the same direction, squinting. Cameron stares a while longer, then turns back and shakes his head against Dev's chest. That is a weird vision. I don't know what lizard that could be, because Flynn wasn't like that, at least when he died. Unless some, like, fish in the lake went up to, like, chew his muzzle off. And then he got turned around. Oh, and also they ate his eyes, I guess. When Cameron looks up at the bear, he's grinning, though. Holy shit, did you see a ghost? The coyote scowls. What? No, I just thought I saw something. That's a reflection in the water or something. The bear gives him a knowing smile. What? You're gonna be a believer by the end of all this, I know it. The grizzly hugs him tightly as Cameron frowns, still looking back at the shallows. It had been so real. But before he can even really collect himself, Devin is pulling him along, back to the car. Okay. The end. Wow. I love it. I love what just happened. Thank you, Howley and McSkinny. Although I think Howley wrote this whole route. As far as I'm aware, McSkinny just did Jenna and Flynn's routes. But yeah, that took an hour, so I think I'm gonna put this in part 5 and not just jam it into part 4. Fart 4. God. Abuse? Well, I don't really know what to say other than what I've already said. Funky Sexy Bane. Oh no, Funky Sexy by Bane. Kevin McLeod. Yeah, but yeah, that ending leads to arches. Yay! So we have a little glimpse of that now. Sex in quotes. Wait, why are there double quotes around some of these? That was from Storyblocks. The one called Sex. Special thanks. All these, and finally, all our amazing patrons over the past 7 years. Oh yeah, this game took 7 years to make. Or was it 6? Because this is the first year anniversary update, so... Yeah, I think I've already said what I need to say when it comes to Chase. I don't like you. I don't like you, man. At least not on this route, I guess. I mean, no matter what, he's still a murderer, but, like, he was a kid the other time, and it's like, it was being escalated by Sydney, but, I'm surprised we didn't even acknowledge the thing that happened in the forest, like, once we saw TJ, or after that, at all. Yeah. So I think the town is actually cursed in some way. Yeah, at that point I think that just has to be it. Because there's no way I would have been able to predict another thing of mass hysteria coming along. And making the whole entire town of Echo be abandoned. And I mean, I wasn't really looking forward to it just being a curse, but I think that it works for now. And we'll probably find out even a lot more about it that'll make more sense. But for now, let's just go back to trying some of the earlier choices and see if anything affects anything. Yeah, so there haven't been any choices in a while. I don't think this affected anything. Throw to the ground. Carl shrugs. And then it goes on like normal. Kick him if he tries to get back up. Carl shrugs. Actually, did we grab Flynn by the neck at some point? I mean, let's just, you know, whatever. Let's just see if this changes anything. Because why not? It's weird seeing Julian in front of the phone. Okay, it changed nothing. And I'm guessing this changes nothing as well. Yep, nothing changed. Okay, which ones of these are choices? This is, I think, is a choice. Yeah, grab him, shove him, or do nothing. This is a choice, maybe? Yeah. So within this route, we have 2 sets of choices that affect things. But then before that, we also have, the question of whether or not Chase is bi. What was this? Oh, leaning on Carl or leaning on TJ. And we have whether or not I'm nervous or whatever about going to Echo. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of choices. I guess we can go through all those. I mean, let's probably just start from the beginning and see the other choices and see what they change. I said I'm nervous, so I'll say... Not really, I'm not excited. Nah, I'm assuming we'll just pick up where we left off. Okay. Let's lean on Carl. Carl is definitely the better choice. Bigger and probably softer, he'd make a nice pillow. Carl, I'm gonna use you as my bed. Huh? I put my head on his shoulder and close my eyes, feeling the soft, puffy, sleeveless hoodie and his bulk under my cheek. Weirdly enough, he was pretty damn sturdy. I'd expected him to feel like a pillow puff. Damn, Chase, you're that tired? Well, alright then. I feel him shift, and suddenly he's putting an arm across the back of the bench, giving me more support. The gesture makes me feel a little warm. I can feel TJ's eyes on us, but I ignore him, enjoying the position of intimacy. And, no, I'm bi. Not really. I mean, yeah, obviously I like Leo, but I've liked girls too. Oh, interesting. I'm kind of hoping none of those choices matter. But yeah, I don't know. Last time I said nothing, so let's say something. I decide that I need to break the silence. Hey, TJ. He doesn't say anything or move. You know how Flynn is. He's a dick. Again, silence. Everyone knows he's a dick. No one's mad at you. He does move then, sliding his legs out straight and leaning back on his paws. He's still looking away from me, rubbing his face on his shoulder. You want to go back and eat? Finally? Okay. Do nothing. It's tempting as hell, but I'm worried scaring the cat will make him jump right off the cliff. Yeah. Especially showing him. Instead, I stand next to him and look out over the small canyon. Were those text messages, like, on the background instead of the phone? Oh. He holds his arms out to me and Jenna. Jenna grunts, not really paying attention as she types away furiously on her laptop. I think it's kinda cute. TJ smiles. You mean funny? No, you just look a little chubby. I watch as some of it sticks to the long fur on his mouth, but okay. Okay, considering I can't skip anything, I'm assuming something's different now that I've done those choices, but maybe it's just something that happens on this day that's different, and that's why it's a different part of the script now? Because, you know, they kind of have to organize these script things into files, like different files for each day, and each variation of each day. I'm assuming something that happens at Carl's house is different. Maybe because I leaned on Carl instead. But wait, no, it wouldn't be that small. Something that small wouldn't justify, like, making an entire different script for the day. Unless it, like, really changes his attitude toward me. Okay, now I can skip for some reason. Nothing was different, though. It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down Friday. Fun, 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 fun. Looking forward to the weekend. Would I kill Flynn? And it was the same. Okay, so TJ's route might actually have been one of the ones that doesn't have any other endings. Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be great to see everyone again. It's been way too long. Okay. Leaning on Carl didn't seem to do much, so let's lean on TJ, I guess. And let's tell the truth. Find TJ. Leave him be. Definitely not worth it. I really don't want to make things worse than they already are. I'm not exactly graceful with this sort of thing, especially with TJ. For now, I should probably just go talk to one of the others. Oh. Huh. That just locks me out of the route. Say nothing. And then I have a feeling shoving him might not be a very good thing, so let's do that. I think this is the last choice, too. Besides the grab him by the neck one. Yeah.
Lingering for days. White bone pokes through skin, maggots feeding off the living.
What? What the fuck? What was that? Okay. Alright, well, unless there are some weirdly tons of choices that you can do to get some other ending, that is all for TJ's route. It only took me 5 episodes. Or maybe 4, I don't know. I might combine this into the other one after all. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. But, yeah. Either way, see you next time on... Actually, not Echo, because the next time I'm doing a visual novel, in 2 weeks, it'll be Glory Hounds, I think. Because that's episodic, so I can just play one episode in between some of these routes and stuff. And also, when I played it by myself, I realized that it was the kind of thing where I wanted to play it on the channel. But after that, we will continue with some other route. I don't know. Maybe Carl's, maybe Leo's. Whichever one I'm more curious about. I think right now it's between those two. But yeah, see you next time. Bye.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing something that's like either an extreme injustice in the world